Matsarvasa Padamboja Radha Madana Mohano Divyadvindaranya Kalpa Drumada Srimad Radnagar Shrimha Sansto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Prashtalbi Sevamana Smarami Srimad Rasa Rasambari Vamsiva Tatasita Karshan Venuswani Gopir Gopinath Siyastuna Vrinde Tulasi Devi Priya Keshava Shacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavate Namo Namaha Panchatarvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhakta Vataram Bhaktikyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। सर्वप्रथम अस्मदे गुरुपाद पद्म मिथिला पृष्ठ जगत गुरु श्री श्रीमद भक्तिदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज के अभय चरणारविंदों में अनंत कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम अर्पण करता हूँ। अंतर उपस्थित पिंडीपाद सन्यासी श्री श्रीमद भक्तिदांत दंडी महाराज जी, नामनिष्ठ संत श्री अनिरुद्धदास प्रभु जी और समस्त वैष्णव के चरणों में मैं मेरा यथार्थ दंडवत प्रणाम अर्पण करता हूँ और उनकी कृपा की प्रार्थना करता हूँ। So today we are celebrating Ekadashi. Ekadashi is a very auspicious day and mother of bhakti. So Madhava Tithi Bhakti Janani Jatane Palana Kari. So now we'll discuss more about Bhakti Devi. Now we are on the page number 39 of Madhurya Kadambini. Bhakti Devi is self-manifesting. Tasya, it is told that Bhakti is Bhagwan's own internal potency, Sarup Shakti. And like the omnipotent Lord, Bhakti also is self-manifesting. So it is told that Bhakti is Bhagwan's own internal potency, Sarup Shakti. So Bhagwan is omnipotent. Bhagwan can do anything. He can do possible, impossible, impossible, possible. Understand? Kartum akartum annatha kartum iti Bhagwan. So Bhakti is also omnipotent and is self-manifesting. She manifests herself without relying on any additional cause. Means don't think that, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that to manifest the purpose of Bhakti. Bhakti is the cause of Bhakti. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya. So Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.6 says, Yato bhakti radokshaje ahituki apratiyata. Understand? Here Bhagavad Bhakti is adokshaja. Bhagavad Bhakti to adokshaja Bhagwan, the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the approach of the material senses, is said to be causeless, ahituki and uninterrupted. By this it is evident that she arises autonomously without any particular cause. Means there is no cause, suddenly bhakti will come. Understand? So, elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.20.8 it is stated, Yadruchaya mat kathadau, only the mercy of bhakti, my own internal energy yields taste for narrations about my pastimes and so forth. The words mad bhaktim cha yadruchaya, Srimad Bhagavatam mean the obtainment of bhakti to me is by her own sweet accord, yadrucha. Such statements about the awakening of bhakti being independent and without any particular cause also appear in numerous verses such as yadruchaya yaivopachita. In these statements from Srimad Bhagavatam and so forth, the word yadrucha means acting only in accordance with one's own sweet will. Indeed, the meaning of yadrucha found in the dictionary is swairita, doing as one pleases, uncontrolled, independent, and switcha of one's own accord. So Bhakti is independent. She is the independent goddess. And she can manifest in anyone's heart. So here Piyusha Varshini Vritti will clarify this topic. Bhagavan appears of his own accord within the Yadu dynasty as Sri Krishna. So you can see that Bhagavan appeared in Yadu dynasty 5000 years ago as Sri Krishna. In Treta Yuga he appeared within Raghu dynasty as Sri Ram. And again only by his own volition does he manifest himself or is otherwise pursued in the internal and external senses of the devotees. So Bhagavan will also manifest in the internal and external senses of the devotees also. He can manifest in the heart of the devotees. In the same way, Bhakti, Bhagavan's self-manifesting internal energy, whose intrinsic nature is composed of eternality, cognizance and bliss, Satchidananda. So Bhakti is Satchidananda, Bhakti is eternal, Bhakti is full of knowledge and Bhakti is blissful. And this Bhakti is the self-manifesting internal energy of Bhagavan. Understand? And she also exhibits herself or is otherwise experienced by her own volition in the internal and external senses of the devotees. So she manifests in the internal senses and external senses of the devotees by her own volition, by her own desire. She does not depend on any other cause. Bhakti is causeless, ahituki. On her own she appears. Like Shri Krishna, Bhakti also is composed of Satchidananda. Krishna is Satchit Ananda, knowledge, bliss and eternality. So Bhakti is also made of knowledge, bliss and eternality. This is unequivocally described in Gopaluttara Tapani Upanishad. Vijnanagana Anandagana Satchidanandaika Rase Bhakti Yoge Tishtati. This means that he who is the condensed form of realized knowledge and bliss, that very Shri Krishna manifests himself in Bhakti Yoga, which is the intrinsic form of Satchidananda. If Bhakti were not composed of eternality, cognizance and bliss, then it would never be possible for her to captivate Bhagavan. So who can control Bhagavan? Who can captivate Bhagavan? Bhagavan is made of knowledge, bliss and eternality. So if to catch Bhagavan, you also need something which is also made of knowledge, bliss and eternity. And Bhakti is made of knowledge, bliss and eternity. And that's why Bhakti can captivate Bhagavan. Because Bhakti and Bhagavan are of the identical nature. At this point, a question may be raised. If Bhakti, being quite the opposite of inert, has the symptoms of being self-manifesting and is composed of eternality, cognizance and bliss, then how is she to appear in the sadhaka's inert mind and senses? Now you can see here, Bhakti is not inert. Bhakti is conscious. Bhakti is made of consciousness. It is not inert, but our mind is inert, our senses are inert. So how is it possible that Bhakti, which is made of knowledge, bliss and eternality, it manifests in the sadhaka's inert mind and senses? In answer, it can be said that after a piece of iron is heated intensely within a blazing fire, it obtains qualitative sameness with fire. It takes on the fire's own reddish hue and it acquires the potency to burn. So you can see here, in material world also, the iron is material. Iron is matter and fire is the energy. Fire, but you can see that the fire, when iron comes in touch with fire, then iron itself becomes fire by association with the fire. So like that, when we constantly hear Harinam, we sing Harinam, we meditate on Krishna's pastimes, and we hear Harikatha from elevated Vaishnavas, what happens? That our mind and our senses, which are material, they become spiritualized. This is possible. This is called Tadatmya. Understand? So in the same way, by her own power, Bhakti, who is composed of Satchidananda, manifests even in the material senses of the sadhaka. And by destroying the mundanity of those senses renders them as transcendent as she is. So it means that the sadhaka's mundane senses cannot pursue bhakti, but by the execution of bhakti, the senses of the sadhakas, they become transcendental as bhakti. So then once the senses of the sadhakas have become transcendental, then no doubt that the sadhaka can pursue bhakti. The Sarupa of Parabrahma Bhagavan Shri Krishna is comprised of Sat, eternality, Chit, cognizance, and Ananda, bliss. Three energies manifest from these three aspects. Sandhini, the energy related to the existence, manifests from Sat. Samvit, the energy related to cognizance, manifests from Chit. And Ladini, the energy related to pure happiness, manifests from the Ananda. So basically, Bhagavan is comprised of Satchidananda, knowledge, bliss, and eternality. So his Sat aspect gives rise to Sandhini potency, which manifests different dhams like Vaikuntha and all. Then there is also Samvit potency, manifest from the Chit aspect of Bhagavan, cognizance aspect of Bhagavan. And Ladini, the pleasure-giving potency, manifests from the Ananda part of Bhagavan. Just as any one of the three aspects, namely Sat, Chit and Ananda, cannot be separated from the other two, so also any one of these three energies, Sandhini, Samvit and Ladini, cannot be disassociated from the other. Means these three energies are always together. Understand? These three energies are always together. Moreover, for example, electrical current. When electric current is passing through coil, as the current is passing, it also gives rise to magnetic field, like solenoid and all you might have seen in electrical engineering. You cannot separate magnetic field from the electrical energy. Even in the material world, you can see like that. Sometimes even the heat is also generated. When you transmit electricity, because of some heat is also generated. You cannot separate electrical energy from the heat energy and the magnetic energy. So similarly, these three energies are always together. Samvit, Sandhini and Ladini. Samvit Shakti manifests from the Chit potency. Sandhini manifests from the Sat aspect of Bhagavan. And Ladini manifests from the Ananda aspect of Bhagavan, bliss. Moreover, wherever the internal energy Swarup Shakti manifests, Sandhini, Samvit and Ladini will simultaneously be present there. So Swarup Shakti means it has three aspects, Samvit, Sandhini and Ladini. Although Swarup Shakti is one, she has three functions, Samvit, Sandhini and Ladini. Parabrahma Bhagavan, the supreme spiritual entity, is self-manifesting. So Bhagavan is self-manifesting. His spiritual energy, Chit Shakti, is also self-manifesting. And as such, the functions of his spiritual energy are self-manifesting too. That which is self-manifesting reveals not only itself, but all else as well, just as the rising sun reveals both itself and the world. So when the sun will rise, you can see the sun and you can see the whole world also. When the sun has not risen on the eastern horizon, then you cannot see the world. So here it is told that Parabrahma Bhagavan. Bhagavan is called Parabrahma. Sometimes Bhagavan is addressed as Brahma, but sometimes Parabrahma. But Jiva is never called Parabrahma. Like Shankaracharya went to Pandharpur and he said, Parabrahma Lingam Bhaje Pandurangam. He said that Vitthal is Parabrahma. Parabrahma Pida, Kuvalaya Dalla Fulla Mukha. Jagannath is also Parabrahma. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Parabrahma. The Supreme Brahma. The supreme spiritual entity he is, and he is self-manifesting. Like for example, the deities in Jagannath Puri or Pandharpur or any place, one shouldn't think that they are carved or something like that. They are self-manifesting. Bhagavan self-manifests himself as the deity form. And as such, the functions of his spiritual energy are self-manifesting too. That which is self-manifesting reveals not only itself but all else as well, just as the rising sun reveals both itself and the world. The special function of the spiritual energy, Chit Shakti, which is endowed with the attribute of being self-manifesting, and through which Parabrahma specifically reveals his own Swarupa, and the transformations of his Swarup Shakti, intrinsic spiritual energy, is called Vishuddha Sattva, pure existence. So the special function of the spiritual energy, Chit Shakti, which is endowed with the attribute of being self-manifesting. Chit Shakti, spiritual energy of Bhagavan, is self-manifesting. And through Chit Shakti, Bhagavan manifests his own Swarupa. If you want to know the Swarupa of Bhagavan, then you have to take shelter of spiritual energy, Chit Shakti of Bhagavan. And when the transformation of his Swarup Shakti or intrinsic spiritual energy takes place, it is called Vishuddha Sattva, pure existence. All the three energies, Samvit, Sandhini and Ladini, coexist within Vishuddha Sattva. The degree to which each energy is expressed is not the same everywhere. Sometimes these three energies are manifest uniformly, and at other times, only one is predominantly expressed. So in Vishuddha Sattva, you see that these three energies are present. These three energies, Samvit, Sandhya and Ladini, are present, but the proportion may be different. Means sometimes Sandhini is more and Samvit and Ladini are less. Means you cannot separate these three energies. But sometimes one energy will be manifest to a greater degree, and other two energies will be manifest to a lesser degree. That happens. Hence, where there is a predominance of Ladini Shakti, it is called Ladini Pradhan Shuddha Sattva. Pure existence predominated by the energy related to pure bliss. And Ladini Pradhan Swarupa Shakti. Bhagavan's intrinsic potency predominated by the energy related to pure bliss. In the revealed scriptures, this has been identified as highly confidential knowledge, Guhya Vidya. The secret knowledge has two functions. One is Bhakti and the other is as the initiator of Bhakti. Through this confidential knowledge, Prema Bhakti manifests. Therefore, Bhakti is intrinsically the special function of the Swarup Shakti predominated by Ladini. So here Bhakti is described that is Bhakti is intrinsically the special function of the Swarupa Shakti. Bhakti is actually function of the Swarupa Shakti. But there is a predominance of Ladini and is a self-manifesting spiritual entity. In Bhakti, there is a predomination of Ladini. Therefore, when you chant the holy name or when you follow Ekadashi, you engage in Kirtan, when you hear Harikatha, you get bliss because in Bhakti, there is predominance of Ladini Shakti. She is not dependent on any other cause for her appearance. Means Bhakti doesn't depend on anything else. Like you give a lot of charity, so Bhakti will come. You open many orphanages, so Bhakti will come. You start very big Goshala, so Bhakti will come. You construct a very big temple, so Bhakti will come. Nothing like that. Bhakti is independent. Understand? Bhakti, on her own accord, she will come. So in numerous places, Srimad Bhagavatam explains that Bhakti manifests without cause and of her own accord. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshaje ahituki apratiyatayatma suprasidati. Only unconditional devotion to the lotus feet of Bhagavan, who is adokshaja, imperceptible, has been described as the supreme dharma of mankind. Such devotion is unconditional. It arises without any cause, and its progress is unimpeded by any material condition. Also, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.20.8 Yadvichaya mat kathado jata shaddastu yak puman na nirvindo nati sakto bhakti yoga asya siddhida. He who is neither overly renounced nor excessively attached to this world. So you have to be not too renounced. Don't be too detached. And don't be excessively attached also to this world. In whom, by the mercy of my inherently autonomous bhakti, bhakti is called autonomous here because she appears on her own accord, she is autonomous. Faith has been awakened in the narrations of my pastimes. So, first, if you are not too attached or too detached, don't be too attached to the material world. And don't be too detached also. Because if you are too detached, you will stop hearing Harikatha also, stop chanting Harinam also. I am renouncing the holy name, I am renouncing Harikatha, I am renouncing my Gurudev, I am renouncing all the scriptures, I am renouncing everything. No. Don't be too attached and don't be too detached also. Don't renounce your japa, reading of scriptures or Gurudev. Don't renounce them. Faith has been awakened in the narrations of my pastimes and so forth. Is qualified for bhakti yoga and thus attains perfection through it. Asmin loke vartamana swadharmastho anagha shuchi jnanam vishuddham apnoti mad bhaktim vayudruchaya. Bhagavatam 11.20.11. That person who remains firmly established in the observance of its own dharma, being sinless even while remaining within his material body, becomes pure. So you have to keep on following your own dharma and remain sinless. So gradually you become pure. There, after knowledge of Vishuddha Tattva, that is knowledge of Bhagavad Tattva and of his own Swarupa, inherent nature, as my servant awakens in him and he obtains bhakti to me, which is independent and causeless. So we have to, then we get knowledge of Vishuddha Tattva, that is knowledge of Bhagavad Tattva, who is Bhagwan and his Swarupa. And we also get knowledge of his one's own Swarupa or inherent nature, that I am the servant of Bhagwan. Thus, in these verses and others like Yadruchaya or Pachita, the word Yadruchaya signifies of her own accord. Bhakti manifests on her own accord, Svecha, her own sweet will, on her own desire, Svecha. In other words, Bhakti arises of her own independent sweet will. Bhakti has her own sweet will and she manifests on her own accord. Thus, Bhakti has been called causeless, Ahituki. She is self-manifesting, meaning she emerges of her own volition. Bhakti comes in the heart of anyone on her own volition. So she is called Ahituki, causeless. It has been said in Srila Jiva Goswami's Priti Sandarbha, Anuchet 65. Bhaktir evenam nayati, bhaktir evenam darsheti, bhakti vasha purusho, bhaktir evai bhuyasi, iti shruyate tasmat evam vivichyate. The purport is that only bhakti brings the devotee near to Bhagavan and only bhakti grants direct darshan of Bhagavan. If you want darshan of Bhagavan, you have to practice bhakti. And only bhakti controls Bhagavan. Bhakti can control Bhagavan. Nothing, no other process can control Bhagavan. That is why bhakti is the principal sadhan to attain Bhagavan. So among all the means to attain Bhagavan, bhakti is the most prominent sadhan. In this connection, it is worth deliberating upon the symptom of that bhakti, who by her own bliss makes Bhagavan intoxicated. It is being explained here that one cannot consider bhakti to be the mundane bliss intrinsic to the material mode of goodness. This is not some mundane bliss in mode of material goodness, as held by Sankhyavadis. Now, what is Sankhya-vadi? Sankhya-vadi adhere to the doctrine of elemental enumeration or Sankhya, in which material nature is the cause of bliss of the Supreme Person. Sankhya people, they adhere to the doctrine of elemental enumeration. This is called Sankhya, counting different elements. So here it is told that neither can bhakti be described as Bhagavad Swarupananda. So the purport is that only bhakti brings the devotee near Bhagwan, and only bhakti grants direct darshan of Bhagwan, and only bhakti controls Bhagwan. That is why bhakti is the principal sadhan to attain Bhagwan. Most important sadhana is bhakti. If you want to attain Bhagwan, do bhakti. In this connection, it is worth deliberating upon the symptom of that bhakti who, by her own bliss, makes Bhagwan intoxicated. There is so much happiness in execution of bhakti, and Bhagwan also finds such a great relish in relishing bhakti that Bhagwan becomes intoxicated by the devotion of a devotee. So Bhagwan is also intoxicated by devotion. It is being explained here that one cannot consider bhakti to be the mundane bliss intrinsic to the material mode of goodness. Bhakti is not mundane bliss, not ordinary bliss. Shruti also establishes this conclusion. Since Bhagwan is complete in himself and thus self-content, he never becomes attracted by the modes of material nature. Bhagwan is complete and he is self-content, he is happy. So he never becomes attracted by the modes of material nature. The modes of material nature do not attract Bhagwan. And neither can bhakti be described as Bhagavad Swarupananda, the bliss inherent in Bhagwan's very form, which is the doctrine of the impersonal monist Dvesheshwadis, who experience the bliss of impersonal Brahma. If that were so, then it would not be possible to establish the correctness of bhakti over that bliss. Bhagwan desires the bliss of bhakti more than he desires the bliss inherent within himself. You can see that Bhagwan gets more joy on seeing the devotion of the devotees rather than the bliss which is inherent within himself. That bliss doesn't give him as much happiness. Bhakti is also not the bliss inherent in the living entity's constitutional nature, Jiva Swarupananda. Since that bliss is extremely minute and consequently Bhagwan cannot become overpowered by it. Like Jiva the living entity realizes his constitutional nature, then he gets some bliss. That is called Jiva Swarupananda. But that bliss is extremely minute. But Bhagwan cannot be overpowered by that bliss. So here, neither can bhakti be described as Bhagavad Swarupananda. Bhakti is also not the bliss inherent in living entity's constitutional nature, Jiva Swarupananda, since that bliss is extremely minute and consequently Bhagwan cannot become overpowered by it. It is said in the Vishnu Puran, Ladini Sandini Samve Eka Sarva Sansito Ladata Pakari Mishra Tvaido Buddhavarjide. Oh Bhagwan, you are the shelter of everything. Bhagwan is called the shelter of everything. Three energies intrinsic to your Swarupa, Ladini, Sandini and Samvit, exist permanently and resplendently within you. These three Shaktis, Ladini, Samvit and Sandini, are always present in Bhagwan. The omnipotent Lord, you are devoid of the material modes of nature. So Bhagwan is completely free from the material modes of the nature. Neither mundane joy, sattvic or misery, tamasic, nor mixtures thereof, rajasic, are present in you. So Bhagwan is completely free from the mundane joy, sattvic bhav. He is also free from the rajasic bhav. Understand? So Bhagwan is free from this. He is free from the mundane joy, sattvic, and nor the misery, nor mixture thereof, rajasic, are present in Bhagwan. According to this evidence from the Vishnu Puran, the only bliss that remains after mundane bliss in the mode of goodness Bhagwan's intrinsic bliss and the inherent bliss of the living entity is the bliss arising from Bhagwan's intrinsic potency, Swarupa Shakti Ananda, named Ladini. This is because it is only through this Ladini Shakti that Bhagwan experiences his own intrinsic bliss. See, Bhagwan wants to relish his own intrinsic bliss, he has to take shelter of Ladini Shakti. By the ecstasy of this energy, he relishes a special delight. It is through that this Shakti that Bhagwan bestows bliss on the Bhaktas. So, Bhagwan wants to bestow bliss on his devotees, he will bestow through this Shakti. Now a doubt may arise, since the Ladini Shakti permanently exists within Bhagwan, how can he possibly be overwhelmed by his own Shakti? So Ladini Shakti is permanently exists within Bhagwan. But how come he is overwhelmed by his own Shakti, Ladini Shakti? To remove this confusion, the following line of reasoning is to be considered. By the application of Arthapatti Praman, which reconciles any apparent contradictions by making an inference from circumstances, the illogical becomes logical. Accordingly, it is certainly conjectured that an experience that increases Bhagwan's Ananda should have some other cause. When that which causes something to happen is absent, and yet what event will still occurs, it is to be inferred that there must be another cause at work. This is known as Arthapatti Praman. For example, Devadatta does not eat during the day. There is a boy called Devadatta, he doesn't eat during the day. But yet he is well built. Given that he does not eat during the day, it is deduced through Arthapatti Praman that he must certainly necessarily be eating at night. In this way, the absurd becomes logical. Right? So, applying the same reasoning, although it is impossible for Ladini to give more bliss to Bhagwan than the bliss existing in his own form, he nonetheless does receive more bliss from her. This seeming contradiction can, however, be resolved by applying Arthapatti Praman. Here it is to be noted that only Ladini Shakti can give bliss to Bhagwan, no one else can. So Bhagwan is getting happiness, he is getting through Ladini Shakti. Bhagwan is actually experiencing a bliss that is impossible for him to experience through Ladini. That is, he experiences a bliss he necessarily cannot get from her. Therefore, it is certainly logical that there must be some other cause of his experiencing his Ananda. And this conclusion is reached in much the same way that it was deduced that Devadatta eats at night. Indeed, it is Ladini in a different form that bestows this profuse Ananda upon Bhagwan. This is understood through Arthapatti Praman. In conclusion, it is none other than the abundant, all blissful, eternal function of that Ladini which is impelled in the heart of the Bhaktas. That is designated as Bhagavad Priti or love for Bhagwan. Thus, when the Swarupa Shakti, Ladini, with the assistance of Swarupa Shakti, the Bhakta attains a special state that reaches the pinnacle of Ananda, it is known as the abundant, all blissful, eternal function of Ladini. Experiencing that affection in the heart of the devotees, Bhagavan reciprocates accordingly by becoming the object of their affection. As stated previously, Bhakti is Bhagavan's Swarup Shakti. What is Bhakti? Bhakti is Bhagavan's Swarup Shakti, intrinsic potency. Bhagavan's Swarup is comprised of Satchit and Ananda. Bhagavan's Swarup is also eternal, blissful. Consequently, his spiritual energy has three functions: Sandhini, Samvit and Ladini. So Bhagavan's spiritual energy has three functions: Samvit function, Sandhini function and Ladini function. The energy related to existence, Satta, is called Sandhini. Existence means Satta. And the energy that is related to Satta is called Sandhini. Through it, Bhagavan maintains the existence of himself and others. What does Sandhini do? It maintains the existence of Bhagwan and also others. The energy related to knowledge, jnana, is called sambit. The energy related to jnana is called sambit. Through it, Bhagwan knows himself and makes himself known to others. So if you want to know Bhagwan, then it is the job of sambit shakti. Only through the agency of sambit shakti, Bhagwan will let us know about himself and also he will encourage us. The energy related to bliss, Ananda, is Ladini. Through it, Bhagwan personally experiences Ananda and grants Ananda to others as well. So, the energy related to bliss, Ananda, is Ladini potency. Through this Ladini potency, Bhagwan personally experiences Ananda and he grants Ananda to others as well. Bhakti is not caused by any type of pious act. So, a lot of time people think, oh, if he does any pious activities, he'll get bhakti. So here he is telling that at times certain highly enlightened personalities have also interpreted the word yadrucha to mean by the awakening of some good fortune. But if yadrucha is interpreted in this way, bhakti's cause is to be considered. Is it brought about by virtuous deeds, shubha karma? Alternatively, is it caused by the absence of such deeds? So how does bhakti manifest? Does it manifest from virtuous deed, shubha karma, or through the absence of such virtuous deed? First, if we accept that good fortune is awakened by virtuous acts, then bhakti would be subsequent to shubha karma. If you see that pious bhakti comes from pious activity, so pious activity is the cause and bhakti is the result. So someone may put an argument that, oh yes, he cannot talk so confidently about bhakti. Therefore, that bhakti is awakened by good fortune arising from shubha karma cannot be accepted. Bhakti cannot arise from shubha karma, auspicious activities or pious activities, pious merits. They cannot give rise to bhakti. Second, if you suppose that the cause of bhakti is good fortune arising from the absence of any virtuous action, then the cause of that good fortune becomes indescribable and unknown. Such good fortune having no other cause, no known cause, falls into veritable obscurity. How can that which is itself utterly undetermined to be the cause of anything else? In other words, how can good fortune that is undetermined be the cause of bhakti? So Piyush Vashni Vritti, through verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, the author Srila Vishwanacharya Thakur has established the self-effulgent nature of bhakti. Bhakti is self-effulgent like the sun. Like the sun is self-effulgent, when the sun manifests in the sky, all darkness goes away. So bhakti is also self-effulgent. And yadrucha means of one's own accord. One's own accord. Is Siddha Swami's explanation of the word yadrucha as used within the previously mentioned Srimad Bhagavatam verse beginning yadruchaya mat kathado, he has written yadruchaya kenapi bhagyodayana. The word yadrucha means by the emergence of some good fortune. According to this explanation, to consider that good fortune born of virtuous action is the cause of bhakti would be to deprive bhakti of her quality of independence, or in other words, of her self-effulgent nature. The word yadrucha is interpreted to mean awakening from some good fortune. Then the question arises, what produces that good fortune? One kind of good fortune is awakened through the performance of pious action, shubha karma. So, if you perform shubha karma, pious activities, then one good fortune will awaken for you. If the pious action is accepted as the answer to this question, then bhakti becomes subordinate to pious action. In this case, bhakti would be tainted by the defect of dependence on karma, and thus her quality of self-effulgence would be lost. But all the revealed scriptures disclose that bhakti is self-effulgent. How is bhakti? Bhakti is self-effulgent. All the Shrutis and Smritis proclaim bhakti to be composed of eternality, cognizance and bliss, Chidananda Vigraha. Just as Bhagavan is, and to be function of the Swarup Shakti, hence to consider bhakti dependent and thereby reject her self-effulgent quality is an offense born out of disdain for the statements of Shruti. The second point speaks of this good fortune as being occasioned by an absence of any virtuous action. As such, since the cause of its awakening remains unknown, the good fortune cannot be established in any way. How can that which is itself undetermined be the cause of anything else? 3D. Is bhakti attained by the mercy of Bhagavan? This is a good question. Does bhakti come from Bhagavan? So third, if you accept that Bhagavan's mercy is in fact the root cause of bhakti, then a natural disaster arises to investigate the cause of that mercy, as well as each successive cause. But still, one will be unable to reach a final conclusion. Hence, in such deliberation, the problem of indeterminacy arises. First, if it is accepted that such unconditional or causeless mercy, ahituki krupa of Bhagavan is in fact the cause of the awakening of bhakti, then Bhagavan would appear to be beset with the fault of iniquity, since bhakti is not observed universally. Bhagavan is impersonal, is impartial. So if his ahituki krupa is the cause of bhakti, then that causeless mercy ought to have been bestowed upon everyone. But this is not what we see. Bhakti is not present in everyone. She abides in some and not in others. In that case, it would be considered that Bhagavan's attitude is not equal to all and is thus tainted by the fault of unfairness or favoritism. But it cannot even be conceived that such a fault can exist in Bhagavan. The following question may also arise. Is Bhagavan's meting out punishment to the wicked and protecting his own bhaktas not indicative of iniquity? So Bhagavan is what he is doing? Bhagavan is meting out punishment to the wicked and protecting his own bhaktas. So this is not iniquity, impartiality. In response, it is said that he is doing so does not indicate unfairness. Rather, it is his greatest quality. Among the innumerable qualities present in Bhagavan, his intense affection for his devotees, Bhakta Vatsalya, reigns supreme. Standing as the monarch of all of his qualities, this subject will be analyzed fully in the 8th shower of this sacred text. Piyusha Varshina Bhakti. Third, if it is said that actually the awakening of this good fortune is due to Bhagavan's mercy, then what is the cause of that mercy? Moreover, what is the cause of that cause? Since no definite conclusion is arrived at by investigating each successive cause, Such an investigation is tainted by the fault of infinite regress. Fourth, if Bhagwan's causeless mercy is accepted as the cause of the awakening of that good fortune, it is appropriate to suppose that all living entities would have the good fortune of attaining bhakti. But this is not seen. Some obtain this good fortune and some do not. This conception is therefore based on the assumption that Bhagwan is tainted by the defect of iniquity. Someone may say that since Bhagwan protects the devotees and slays the demons, he does indeed have the shortcoming of iniquity. Means he protects the devotees and kills the demons. So he may have shortcoming of iniquity. This is the tarka. In response, it is being explained that any iniquity observed in Sri Bhagwan's punishing the wicked and protecting his own disciples is not a fault, but rather his greatest ornament. In other words, it is the mark of his most exalted quality among all the qualities present in Bhagwan. The quality of affection for his devotees is resplendent above all others. Indeed, even in the slaying of demons, Bhagwan manifests his immense power. He manifests his immense mercy to them. This is because, as the inevitable result of their malevolence towards Sri Bhagwan and his devotees, their souls, upon leaving their present body, would normally be cast into hell and the like, where they would perpetually experience sweet agonies and would not be able to obtain bhakti. Therefore, on the pretext of slaying the demons, Bhagwan shows even them unlimited compassion and mercifully granting them liberation, mukti, which is extremely rare even for the yogis. The 8th shower of this holy text specifically analyzes this subject. The mercy of Bhagwan's devotees is the cause of obtaining bhakti. So here, what is the cause of bhakti? The mercy of Bhagwan's devotees. Understand? So Gurudev was telling that if you want bhakti, you have to approach a bona fide guru, a bona fide Vaishnava. The mercy of Bhagwan's devotees is the cause of obtaining bhakti. The mercy of the devotees is said to be the cause of bhakti. The Bhagavad Bhakta's mercy, like the mercy of Bhagwan, is causeless. In this case also, it is improper to find any defect of iniquity or partisanship in the mercy of Bhagwan's devotees, since the symptoms of a Madhyam Bhakta, intermediate devotee, are stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 46th verse. He who adopts the mood of love towards the Lord, Madhyamadikari has love for the Lord, fellowship towards the devotees of the Lord. So he has some fellowship with the devotees. Understand? That is what the... And he has mercy towards the ignorant. The devotee of the Lord has mercy to the ignorant persons. And neglect towards the antagonist. He is a Madhyam Bhagavat. Understand? According to these symptoms, iniquity is seen in the Madhyam Bhakta. These qualities are actually the defining qualities of the Madhyam Bhakta. Shri Bhagwan is conquered by his bhaktas. Who can conquer Bhagwan? His devotees can conquer Bhagwan. Therefore, if his mercy follows the mercy of his bhaktas, there is no question of any kind of incongruity. So Bhagwan is conquered by his devotees. So here it is told that if his mercy follows the mercy of his bhaktas, there is no question of any kind of incongruity. In other words, Only by attaining the mercy of the Bhakta does one attain the mercy of Bhagwan. First you have to receive the mercy of the devotee. Then you receive the mercy of Bhagwan. Bhakti forever exists within the heart of the Bhakta. And therefore the root cause of the bestowal of the Bhakta's mercy upon others is verily the Bhakti in his heart. Without Bhakti residing within the Bhakta, there is no possibility of mercy being awakened for anyone. In this way, the self-manifesting nature of Bhakti is established. Hence, in the verse beginning, Yah kenapi ati bhagyena jata shraddho asya sevane. Whoever by some extreme good fortune has been invested with faith in the service of Bhagwan, the words Ati Bhagyana validate the assertion that any such good fortune is born of pious action, Shubha Karma. One should know that the absolute meaning of Ati Bhagyana is by the mercy of the Bhaktas. Hare Krishna. So today's topic was a little difficult to understand, I think. But if you hear carefully, we'll understand. So here, bhakti manifests on our own accord. Bhakti doesn't depend on anyone else. Understand? But who gives the bhakti? Bhagwan doesn't give bhakti, but a devotee of Bhagwan will give bhakti. It has been told here. Hare Krishna. If anyone has any question, please ask. So today's
Hare Krishna
Ekadashi.
Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Thank you so much. Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
Sati Mataji, unmute yourself, please.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, Sati Mataji is a new devotee.
Oh.
Speak, Mataji.
Here, Sachi.
Yes, from Guyana.
Oh, Guyana, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And the first time I am keeping Ekadasi for the first time.
Oh, super.
I actually understand some of the things you're saying, but to comprehend it, it's not so easy. So I'm asking you for your grace, your blessings, your prayer.
Yeah. Actually, these topics, this book is quite difficult to understand. But because this is a lot of theory here, but as we go ahead, then some examples Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur will give. Then it will become a little simpler. But basically, everything boils down to that Bhagwan is eternal. Bhagwan is full of knowledge. Bhagwan is consciousness, pure consciousness. And Bhakti is blissful. Bhakti is eternal. Bhakti is all cognizant. All this is simple. So, the gist of everything is that Bhakti is independent, Bhagwan is independent. So, all said and done, everything boils down to only one thing. Bhakti is given by the devotee of Bhagwan. If you want Bhakti, then you have to approach a Madhyamadhikari Vaishnava. Some Vaishnava.
That word I don't understand.
You go to a devotee and devotee will give you Bhakti. Understand?
Okay.
So Bhakti is given by devotee. The devotee, he has the license. Understand? He can give Bhakti to anyone. So he is empowered by Bhagwan to give Bhakti. So generally speaking, we all got Bhakti from some devotee. Understand?
Okay.
Like from our Guru Maharaj, or our own Guru Dev gives Bhakti to us. Understand?
Okay.
So we need the mercy of the spiritual master. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, we cannot advance in Bhakti. So he is the Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Satma. The lotus feet of Guru is the source of Bhakti. So even if those who are unlettered, ignorant persons, they also get Bhakti by mercy of Guru. Many people have not even gone to school, but they served their spiritual master, they got bhakti. They didn't read any scriptures. They did not understand any high class language. Even children, they got bhakti by the mercy of spiritual master. Understand? So,
Yes, I
because
understand.
Gurudev used to tell one thing that God is love, love is God. Understand?
Yeah.
So, God is love and love is God. So, basically, today's world, you see that people have everything. They
Yes.
have refrigerator, washing machine, bank balance, golden ornaments, uh, sports cars, everything they have, but no trust between husband and wife. Understand?
Yeah.
Wife has a
Yeah.
separate bank account, husband has a separate bank account, son has a different bank account, daughter has a different bank account. Where is that trust? Where is that love? All the four members of the family are working. Mother is working, father is working, daughter is working, sister is working, brother is working, but still they cannot fulfill their needs. And Gurudev used to tell that when I was a child, only one person was a breadwinner and still they were living happily. Needs were less. Understand? There was more and love and affection. Divorce was non-entity. There was nothing like a divorce. But now you see
Yeah.
no trust level, so many divorces taking place. So although there is so much advancement, material advancement, where is that love and affection? Understand? That is gone. So that's why Guru comes to teach you that you cannot take even grey hair with you, black hair with you. One day you have to leave this world. Your body is nothing but urine and stool and blood and flesh. Understand? You
Yeah.
see that there was a great, Gurudev was telling that there was a great devotee in India. The name of Tulsidas. He was a devotee of Ram. But he was so attached to his wife before he became a devotee. So attached to his body. He was born in a good Brahmin family and his wife was also Brahmin. She was very pretty, so he was very attached to her. One day she told him, out of disgust, that if he had this same attachment for Ramchandra or Krishna Chandra, Bhagwan Ram or Krishna, oh, you would be somewhere else. You would have gone to Vaikuntha. And then he said, I will now do bhakti. I will not be attached to the body of my wife, which is nothing but a transformation of blood, flesh, urine and stool. And he started doing bhakti. Understand? Like Mirabai. Mirabai from childhood she did bhakti. Understand? So, we have to know that actually this bhakti, this whole book, Madhurya Kadambini, is talking only about bhakti. Understand? And bhakti is independent. Means, here Gurudev is telling that a rich person will get bhakti, or a poor person will get bhakti, or a man will get bhakti, or woman will get a bhakti, or a child will get bhakti, or old man will get a bhakti. No guarantee. It is like the devotee of Krishna, pure devotee of Krishna, or especially Madhyamadikari, means a devotee in the middle one, he can freely has the license to give bhakti to anyone. And he will go door to door and he will distribute that bhakti. Understand? Like our Gurudev. Our Gurudev, he went this continent, that continent, everywhere. South Africa also he came, Johannesburg, everywhere he went. Everywhere, I think. He saw also Brazil. And he distributed bhakti. And his Harikatha
Never.
hearing, people got bhakti. Even those who did not have much sukruti, did not have much knowledge, he told in a very simple language, if you want to be happy, then you love Krishna. You chant his holy names. You fast on the day of Ekadashi. Now, he was talking about Ekadashi, he said, yes, you know, just like your school has a holiday, stomach also has some bacteria, they need a holiday. The bacteria help us digest the food. So if you are eating all the time, the bacteria will get tired. The scientific language he told, do Ekadashi. So Sripad Danti Maharaj says that whether knowingly or unknowingly you do Ekadashi, bhakti will must come. Like knowingly or unknowingly you touch fire, what will happen? Your hand will burn. So knowingly or unknowingly you say Hare Krishna, all your sins will be dissipated and bhakti will come. So like that, even if you forget about chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, even hearing the Hare Krishna mantra in Sankirtan will give you bhakti. So basically, bhakti is easy process. Other processes are very difficult and they cannot bestow bhakti. So here, Bhagwan's one great quality is there, Bhakta Vatsalya. He has intense affection for his devotees. Bhagwan has intense affection for his devotees. Like Gurudev was telling that Krishna cannot give up any devotee, even a small devotee, new devotee also he cannot abandon him. Bhagwan cannot give up any devotee. He is very attached to his devotee. And he will ignore all the bad qualities of his devotees. And very soon, that person who is engaging in bhakti will become free from sins and will develop pure bhakti. But if you are not doing bhakti like Ravan was having 1 lakh children and 1.25 lakh grandsons and so everything, living in Golden Lanka, in a city of gold. But because no bhakti, what happened? Everything was wasted. Understand? So, it is bhakti only. High birth is also not required. Like Vibhishan was born in demon family. Hanuman born monkey family. Understand? But they had bhakti. Dhruva was a small child, 5-year-old boy. Although Dhruva's bhakti is not considered pure bhakti, he had some material aspirations. But still he did some bhakti. Within 5 months he had darshan of Bhagwan. But it was not called pure devotion. Prahlad Maharaj, you see, small child. He was tortured. So like Gurudev was telling that we are suffering something from something. Immediately we tell Bhagwan, oh Bhagwan, rectify this situation. Remove my distress. Remove my lamentation. Remove my... Oh, this is... But Prahlad didn't ask like this. He was tortured like anything. He was thrown in the boiling oil. He was thrown off the cliff. He was thrown in the valleys. They tried to trample him under the feet of elephant. They got him stung by the scorpions and snakes, bitten by the snakes. Everything, all atrocities they committed on him. But not a single moment he told Bhagwan that please save me, please protect me. Never and never he told like this. Understand?
But he was chanting.
Yeah, because he was actually, because he had so much faith in Bhagwan. Understand? Like Gurudev was telling a story that how should be a sannyasi? And there was a man, he was a miser. It was a Brahmin family, he was a miser. He never used to treat anyone nicely. His family also he never used to treat nicely, his wife, children, neighbors. And he was a very miser person. So one time he had a big loss in his business. And his family members left him, his wife left him, children left him, neighbors left him. He had nothing to eat. Only headache, suffering. So he came across one sadhu. And he told sadhu these problems. My business has been a failure. My wife has left me, my children have left me, my neighbors have left me, my friends have left me. I am now suffering like anything. I am totally lost. I am devastated. What should I do? And that sannyasi told him, you take sannyas. I will give sannyas, renounce order of life. Gave him mantra, Krishna mantra and this sannyas mantra. And he became a sannyas. Now, he said, how will I maintain myself? He asked that sannyasi that you have given me a sannyas, renounce order of life, but how will I maintain myself? Then he said, you go to the same village where you had a business. And because he had ill-treated the people in that village, all those people had wanted to take revenge upon him. So whenever he used to go with a baking bowl to the houses of the people who he had offended in the past, instead of giving him food or rice or chapati, they used to put urine stool in his bowl, begging bowl. Sometimes they used to urinate on his head. Sometimes they used to throw stool on his head, on his body. They used to slap him, beat him. But he never complained. He said, this is my past karma. Let me atone for it. Let me suffer it. Without any complaint, he kept on. If they would put stool in his begging bowl, he will wash the begging bowl. He will pass urine on his head, he will go and take bath in the river, again become purified. But he never rebuked those who urinated on his head or threw stool at him. Never and never. Or those who cursed him. He kept on tolerating. Finally, he got bhakti and went back to the spiritual world. Understand? So, spiritual world means you have to be very tolerant. Pranadapi sunichana tadapi seshtana amarina mandena kirtanya sati. Without tolerance, we cannot get bhakti. So they always used to tell that there are so many problems, but I will teach you how to dance on the head of these problems. I will teach you how to overcome all these problems. Understand? So, Bhagavan cannot give bhakti. Try to understand this. Because Bhagavan is impartial. So, suppose he gives bhakti to you and then he doesn't give bhakti to me. So, people will say Bhagavan is partial. He is giving bhakti to this Mataji, but this Maharaj is not getting bhakti. So, Bhagavan's job is not to give bhakti. It is a devotee, especially Madhyamadhikari, he gives bhakti. So, all these things are explained here. So, Bhagavan has only one potency, Swarup Shakti, internal potency. And this internal potency has three functions, Samvit, Sandhini and Ladini. So, Samvit is the knowledge potency, Sandhini is the existence potency, and Ladini is the bliss potency. These three functions cannot be separated from each other. And especially, Ladini Shakti is Radharani. Presiding deity of Ladini Shakti is Radharani. She gives bliss to the whole world. Understand? And she gives the bliss to even Krishna. Krishna gives bliss to the whole world. But who gives bliss to Krishna? Radharani gives bliss to Krishna. So Krishna is completely controlled by Radharani. And he cannot understand how much love Radharani has for him. And therefore he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Understand? So basically Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna only, but he is in the mood of Radharani. Like Gurudev was telling that one time Ramchandra went to Modadrumadvip in Navadvip. And there he was laughing, smiling. Sita asked him, my dear husband, why you are smiling? He said, I remember my future pastimes when I come in Kali Yuga. I will take sannyas that time. I will renounce you. You will be weeping in my separation. You will be staying home with your mother-in-law. And I will go to the forest. I will go to Vrindavan or Jagannath Puri. And in this lifetime, you will be sent to forest. And I will cry in your separation. Sita said, why do you do like this? Why you make me cry? Why you introduce separation? Then Bhagavan told that the river of love has two embankments. Embankment of meeting and embankment of separation. Without separation, the meeting cannot be done.
Can meet. Okay.
So therefore, separation is required in this world. Understand? And that's why in spiritual life also there is separation. So like Ramchandra, he told Sita, that actually Sita lived in the captivity of Ravan for 1 year. But she never had any thought of anyone else but Ramchandra. She was a chaste woman. But once in very helpless condition, Ravan had touched her only once. Understand? But once one washerman told that Sita's character.
He touched her where?
The washerman.
With the grass?
The washerman, he told his wife, washerman's wife had stayed away in the night sometime. So that time, washerman told his wife that you stayed away last night. I'm not like Ram, that one's wife will stay for 1 year away from him and still he will accept. I'm not Ram. I cannot accept you. So the spies, they told this to Ramchandra. And then Ramchandra decided that people will have no faith in me. They don't have faith in Sita also. So let me send Sita to the forest. So next day he sent Sita to the forest with Lakshman. She was pregnant and she gave birth to twins. Love and Kush, these were two sons of Sita. And they learned Ramayana from Valmiki Rishi. One day Ram, Naimisharanya, decided to perform Rajasuya sacrifice. And these two children, these two brahmacharis, Love and Kush, were invited to sing Ramayana. They sang the Ramayana and tears started to flow from the eyes of Ramchandra. It was his own story they were singing. But these two boys didn't know that we are singing the story of our own
Their
father.
Father.
Yeah. And then, actually Ram wanted to do Rajasuya sacrifice, but what Vashishta Rishi said? Vashishta said, without wife he cannot do any sacrifice. In Vedic culture, wife is equal half. She is also better half. So without wife, how can husband perform any pious activities? He told, bring Sita back from the forest, then only you can do sacrifice. Ram said, that is not possible. Okay, then you marry a second time. He said, that is also not possible. Then okay, you make a golden deity of Sita and do Pran Pratishtha. So Ram said, okay. He did Pran Pratishtha of Sita, keeping Sita. And then these two boys saw that golden deity of Sita next to Ramchandra. And as they sang Ramayana, Ram was crying. He told Lakshman, go to these two boys and ask them who their mother and father is. Give them some gold. Then Lakshman offered them some gold coins. And he asked who your mother and father are. Then they told Lakshman, this Love and Kush, these two boys, we are brahmacharis. We need mangoes, we need papayas, we need guava, we need bananas. Everything is available in our ashram. What we'll do with the gold? So they rejected the offering of gold from Lakshman. And Lakshman said, tell me at least the name of your mother and father. And they said that our father is Valmiki Rishi and our mother is the mantra he has given. Understand? So when you get initiated, then you have no relationship with your father as such, as a father. Then your father becomes your guru. Understand? Like Gurudev was asked sometimes, who's your father? Then Gurudev told, my father is Srila Nityalabha Vishnu Vishnupad Shishya Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Understand? But actually Gurudev's father, biological father, Sri Baleshwarnath Tiwari, when Gurudev was a small child, Baleshwarnath Tiwari, Gurudev's biological father, bathed him. And Gurudev was quite naked, small boy. Then he was wiping his body dry and he told Gurudev that I am serving you so much. When you grow up, you will have to serve me. Then Gurudev said, I could never serve my father. But I had promised my father that when you leave the world, I will come there. It was the father's desire. So when his father was sick, Gurudev went there, read Gita, he uttered a Hare Krishna mantra to father's ear, gave him Gopal mantra. Then next day morning he left. And father left the world right after Gurudev left the house. And Gurudev said that I guaranteed I did my duty as a son. Generally speaking, a son can give some medicine to the mother. A son can give some clothes to the mother, old mother. He can give some food to the old mother. But a son who is a devotee, like Gurudev, he can ensure that his mother and father will get permanent emancipation from the repetition of birth and death. Understand? That is a real son. So that not ordinary person can do. So Gurudev said, what I have done for my mother and father, none of my brothers can do. I will ensure. Understand? And even if Gurudev becomes sannyasi, if someone's son becomes a brahmachari, like you see a lot of debates on YouTube, that one son and one mother, they're arguing. Mother says that my son, I taught him, I educated him, I gave him so much education. He never served me. He joined the Hare Krishna temple. He became a monk. So this is not good. He is not actually, he is krutagna, means he is ungrateful. That is what mother accuses. But she doesn't know that if a devotee serves Krishna, then automatically mother, father, everyone is delivered. Understand?
Yeah.
Everyone will be delivered in his family. Because mother felt separation, so Bhagavan will deliver her also and give her bhakti. So Gurudev, he did his duty as a son to his father, what no other brother could have done. So that's why Lava Kush told our father is Valmiki. So then they came home and they went to Sita. It was late in the night. Sita was waiting. He said, boys, where were you? Then they told, today, mother, we went to see Rajasa sacrifice. In the arena of Raja sacrifice, we saw a very handsome king. And next to him, there was actually your form, in golden form. You were sitting. But only thing is, you speak and that form was not speaking. That deity was not speaking. Then Sita began to cry. She realized it was Ram. And she told, yes, the king Ram has left Queen Sita. But my husband has not left me. Understand? Because the king may have left the queen, but Ram has not left Sita. Understand? Because king has a different role. He has to fulfill the desires of the subjects. But in my heart, I am still there. So then Ram inquired who those two boys were. And then Valmiki told, they are your own sons, and they are the sons of Sita and you. Ram said, bring Sita, bring these two boys. Then he told Sita, right before, you should tell me about your purity. You should prove that you are pure. In front of everyone, Ram said this to Sita. And Sita said, okay. She said, if I have not remembered any other male other than my husband, if I always thought of my husband in my heart, and I had no affection for any other man in my heart, then, oh my mother earth, oh Bhumi Devi, please give me shelter. And Bhumi manifested. Bhumi manifested, and with a golden throne she was sitting. She took her daughter in the lap and she entered into the ground. Ram was shouting, stop, stop, stop. My mother-in-law, Bhumi Devi, O earth, return my wife. Then Valmiki said, no, don't be angry. Vasishtha also told him, don't be angry. Sita has gone back to the spiritual sky in Vaikuntha, Saket Dham, Ayodhya Dham, and she is waiting for you there. Very quickly you should go and join her pastimes. Now your lila should be wound up. Understand? So, here you can see that separation. We have to feel separation from Gurudev, Vaishnavas. We have to feel the separation. So therefore, Gurudev is telling that this, from a neutral point of view, separation may be so elevated. Understand? So in Navadvip there is separation. So Gurudev was telling there are 4 types of meetings and there are 4 types of separations. For example, the 4 types of separations Gurudev was telling, there is Purvarag, Man, Pravas and Sudur Pravas. And there are 4 types of meetings also. Sankshipta Sambhog, Sankirna Sambhog, Samruddha Sambhog and Purna Samruddhiman Sambhog. Like this. So this is Mahaprabhu. Understand? There may be some consideration of offense in chanting the name of Krishna, in the Dham of Krishna, in pastimes of Krishna, but no consideration of offense in chanting the name of Sachidanand Gaurari, his abode Navadip Dham, his pastimes. That's why this is Navadip Parikrama is going on. And we are doing that Parikrama in mind at least. If we cannot do this Parikrama in the physically, then at least in the mind you should do this Parikrama. Chant the name of Sachidanand Gaurari. Hear the Harikatha. Understand? This money cannot help you. How much money you may have, what money will do? Money cannot help you. Understand? Beauty is also not permanent. Gurudev told Miss Universe or Miss World, she will not be nominated Miss World or Miss Universe after 1 year. She will be considered older now, not as beautiful. So old age will catch you. One day you cannot hear properly. Eyes cannot see properly. All hair will be gone. Teeth will be gone. You have to walk with a stick. Cannot digest anything. This will happen. No one can stop death. No one can stop old age. And you are thinking, my daughter will maintain you. My son will maintain you. No, for sure, they will not maintain you. When you are old, they will leave for yourself on the streets. Understand? Abandon you. Like one time Gurudev was in Italy, he saw one dog. The people had abandoned that dog on the beach. The owner had abandoned the dog on the beach. And Gurudev's car came and that dog, dirty dog, came to Gurudev. Smelled his body and then he was weeping. So seeing his weeping, Gurudev asked why this dog is weeping. He said the owner had left him on the beach. Then Gurudev also began to weep because he remembered the separation mood of Gopis and Krishna like this. And Gurudev told like that in the class that day. You see that dog. He said that owner of the dog had left that dog on the beach to fend for itself. But Krishna is not like that owner. Krishna will never leave you. Everyone may leave you. Your husband, wife, children, mother, father will leave you. But Krishna will never leave you. Krishna cannot give up his devotee. Never and never. And his devotee never perishes. Kaunteyah pratijani name bhaktya pranashyati. So the whole exercise of studying Madhurya kadambini is to get that bhakti, understand the nature of bhakti. So these are all difficult topics, but we should try to study them. Siddhanta baliya chitya na karalasa yahaite Krishna lage sudruda manasa. So if you understand this Siddhanta properly, then you'll get strong devotion, unshakable devotion. Understand?
Yeah. Well, I like one thing you said. When you said, when they asked the two boys who are the father, and they said Valmiki. And then they asked who is the mother, and they said the mantra that Valmiki gave them, which is good.
Yes, our actually mother is the Guru. Father is Guru. And the mantra is our mother, actually. Understand?
Yeah.
So when we get our father is the Gurudev, becomes our father. So when we say who's your father, we should tell Gurudev. And mother is the mantra. Gayatri mantra. Understand? So Vedas are the mother and father is the Guru. And the essence of all the Vedas is the Hare Krishna mantra, Gopal mantra, Brahma Gayatri, Kam Gayatri, these mantras. So when we chant these mantras, then we get the Vedic knowledge. We should try to get the connection with the spiritual master. First, we should try to not take meat, fish, eggs, all these contaminated foodstuffs. And then chant Hare Krishna mantra.
Gurudev, you ever come in this part of the world? Trinidad, Guyana, Venezuela, you ever come this side?
I have not come, but I have a desire to come. Shiva Dandi Maharaj once went to Trinidad. There was one Didi from Trinidad. She left the world. Her name was Kamala Didi. So she was very nice, and she was Gurudev's disciple. We had met her in Florida, near Miami. And she came to India also. She was very helpful. But then she became sick and she left the world, I think, a couple years ago. She had taken Shipad Dandi Maharaj once to Trinidad, But I have not gone to South America or Trinidad, Guyana. But I was in United States 10 years. So I have many Guyanese friends and Guyanese godbrothers and devotees. I know them. Like in Liberty Avenue in New York, many devotees are staying, from Guyana, Trinidad,
Yeah,
Suriname.
I was staying in Liberty Avenue.
I think because from your accent I can understand. You are from Liberty Avenue because your accent is like that. So,
but I'm now in Guyana. I will hope and pray that I can bring you one day in Guyana.
Yeah, Didi, I'll come. Actually, let this corona scare comes down a bit. Because Dandi Maharaj told me that I told Maharaj that it's very difficult to travel. Maharaj said, now no need to travel. There's applications like Zoom and Google Meet, these virtual meetings, they are actually very easy with a visa, passport, tickets, and all that.
Uh,
You can avoid
you
by
can get
simply virtual meetings.
you can get visa to come to Guyana, do you? Can you?
Yeah, actually, Indians don't, they get, I think, Guyana, easy to get visa, but the corona scare, very difficult. And the second thing is always, we saw that the ticket, always arranging the money for ticket is expensive.
Yeah,
Air
yes,
travel.
yeah,
Yeah, that's why
yeah.
Dandi
That
Maharaj
that
told me, he told me that
that can
this,
be arranged,
that can be
but
arranged.
yes, and the house, well, house also can be arranged, but
Yes, yes.
you wouldn't get first class house to stay in, but normal house like what you have there to stay in, that would be fine.
Right, right. No problem. Actually, I will talk to Sripad Dandi Maharaj and
Mm.
one time come there, sure. That area will do some Nagar Kirtan preaching.
I
Sripad, Srila Gurudev, actually,
mm.
he always encouraged his sannyas disciples to travel and preach and all. But with this corona
you
became
can
difficult. We'll certainly
you
come
can
sometime.
take you
Yeah,
can
we'll
take my
come.
WhatsApp number. You
Sure,
can
sure,
take
sure.
my WhatsApp number now, and
Yes.
you can call me, and I can get yours, and we
Sure,
can
sure,
probably
Didi.
talk on WhatsApp.
Sure,
So my
sure, sure.
number is 592
Acha, 592.
611 8317. 592 is the code.
Uh-huh.
611
Uh-huh.
8317.
Acha, Didi. 83 is 17, huh?
Yes,
70. Okay.
611. You
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it?
Yes, yes.
611
Yes.
8317. And
Yeah,
my
yeah.
name is Tati.
Sachi, Sachi. Acha, acha. 592
I was 592 is the
611.
code.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
611 8317. Huh? Yes, yes.
Yeah. I
Acha.
was listening to a program with you.
Uh,
Was singing kirtan.
yes.
And you're a good singer.
Actually, there are better singers, but actually, Srila Gurudev used to tell one thing that it is the bhava, the moods.
Yeah.
The moods that are important. And Krishna says in that Naham Tishtami Vaikunthe Yoginam Hridayopi Ma Mad Bhakta Yatra Gayanti Tatra Tishtami Narada. That I don't stay in Vaikuntha, I don't stay in the heart of the yogis. Where my devotees are singing the holy names, I stay there. So Bhagavan is Kirtana Priya. Understand? So we should try to also sing whatever our voice is. See, this book will further describe that two types of ruchi, two types of taste. Vastu Vaishishta Apekshane Ruchi and Vastu Vaishishta Anapekshane Ruchi. Sometimes if the Kirtaniya is singing very sweetly, then we show attachment to that kirtan. If the kirtan singer is not having very good voice, we don't show attachment to the kirtan. So Guru said this is not correct. However
Yeah,
is
I
the
know.
voice, we should relish the kirtan.
Mm.
And Gurudev used to say that sometimes the deity is dressed very beautifully, then we take darshan of the deity. Otherwise, if the deity is not dressed so nicely, having very simple outfit, then we say, oh, no, 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 this deity is not beautiful. Actually,
But days,
we have no eyes to see the deity. Understand?
yeah,
So
yeah.
prasadam also like that. If the lot of ghee, lot of nice jaggery and high class dry fruit have been put, then we say, oh, prasad is there, very good there. But it's cooked simply some khichdi or something, or we say, ah, no, that mutt has no good prasad. But Gurudev
That
said
is
no.
why
Huh.
that is why they can't see the deity because stays block their eyes.
Right, right. So prasad is transcendental. Kirtan is transcendental. Deities are transcendental. But we have the mood of enjoyment. I want to enjoy that. Understand? So we have to give up that.
Yeah.
Gurudev said we should give up the mood of enjoyment, and we should we should be beyond that enjoyment. So we have to come to that stage of ruchi, understand, the taste. For example, the holy name. Holy name is the greatest elixir, the greatest medicine, the sweetest of all. Madhura Madhura Metan Mangalam Mangalanam Sakala Nigama Valli Satphalam Chit Swarupa Sukrutapi Parigitam Shraddhaya Elayava Bhrugavarnara Matram Taret Krishnama. So it's sweet, very, very sweet, this holy name, sweeter than the grapes, sweeter than mango. But why we have no taste for the holy name? Sat Krishna Nama Charitati Sitapi Vidya Pittopatapta Rasanasana Rochikano Kintmadrat Anudinam Khalusaiva Jushta Sadvi Bhoti Kramata Gadamula. Like a person is affected by jaundice, you will find sugar candy very bitter. But the medicine for jaundice is sugar candy only. So our aversion to chant the holy name is due to forgetfulness of Krishna. We don't like actually Krishna. We don't like his holy name because we are so much covered by Maya. We are actually diseased persons having jaundice. Otherwise, Krishna Nam will never and never should leave our tongue even for a moment. Most auspicious. Like Gurudev was once telling that he said that I am living in Hawaii. I am living in say Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco. I go to the big, big mansions of my disciples. They are multimillionaires. And when we go there, they keep us at their home. They give so much prasadam, dry fruit, everything, fruit, and they don't take even a single penny from us. They are always ready to attentively serve me. He said, what I am doing? I am only chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So he said that this is all the power of the holy name. All these facilities are coming. Krishna is arranging. So he said he will also arrange for you. You should never worry about money, he said. If you chant the holy name, Krishna will make all the arrangement. Understand? Yes, Buddha said, I never worked in my life. Never worked in his life. I was a police officer after he gave up the job. He never did any job or any business. But he was, for example, Gurudev was giving an example that there was one devotee. He was working for one Prabhu called Sanatan Prabhu. This Sanatan Prabhu had a very big cloth business. He was a merchant in Kolkata. So this devotee had borrowed 10,000 rupees from Sanatan Prabhu. So that devotee, the only condition was that he has to keep on working for Sanatan Prabhu all life for that 10,000 rupees. And if he has to leave the job of Sanatan Prabhu, he has to pay 10,000 rupees to Sanatan Prabhu. If he keeps on working, no need to repay the debt. So Param Gurudev went there, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj, that devotee heard the Harikatha of Srila Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj. He was very attracted to Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj. And he said to Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj, I want to stay with you. I want to, till my last breath, I want to stay with you in the mud. And I want to do service to you and hear your Harikatha. But I have only one problem. I work for Sanatan Prabhu, who's your god brother. And I owe him 10,000 rupees. If I don't pay him 10,000 rupees, then I cannot join you. Yeah. Then Gurudev said, don't worry about him. I'll talk to Sanatan Prabhu. Then he went to Sanatan Prabhu and he told Sanatan Prabhu, I am your god brother. Sanatan Prabhu said, yes, I know that. You are my sannyas god brother. You are very senior to me. He said, I give you Harikatha. I speak to you Harikatha. I speak you the pastimes of Krishna. What is the price of this Harikatha? How much money this Harikatha cost? And Sanatan Prabhu said that this Harikatha is more than trillions of dollars. It cannot be calculated in material yardstick because it is completely spiritual. So he said, because you are telling that my Harikatha is worth billions and billions of rupees, so I request you that this devotee owes you 10,000 rupees and he wants to join my mud. So you should forgive his 10,000 rupees and let him join my mud because you owe me so much. Then he said, not only I will forgive his 10,000 rupees, on top of that I will give him 10,000 rupees if he joins the mud. So his debt was forgiven, and that devotee joined the Matha, and till the last breath he was serving Param Gurudev. Eventually he took sannyas also. Understand? So he cannot repay. If anyone is giving a Harikatha, with what Harikatha we heard from our Gurudev, oh, we cannot repay him. If anyone is speaking Harikatha to you, then it is not a material transaction. Understand? So Gurudev was telling this story, that how Harikatha is so important. So with full attention, Srila Gurudev used to say that you have to hear this Harikatha very carefully and try to. That's why these books, what is Madhurya Kadambini book, Gurudev personally edited this book, got it translated. It's a very, very high class book. Actually, people are waiting to read this book all over the world. Many Gurudev used to give these classes of this Madhurya Kadambini to many senior devotees. ISKCON GBC members used to give the classes of this Madhurya Kadambini. A very, very wonderful book, this Madhurya Kadambini. And I would say that this Gurudev's edition is the most fabulous edition. Everyone from all the matas, all the institutions, they come and buy this book and read it. Understand? Because this book is like the diagnostic. What faults are there in our bhakti? What is really, why we are not making any progress? Where it exactly gives the diagnosis of our real disease condition. Understand? Aversion to the holy name is a symptom. Understand? But why there is aversion? Where the offenses are taking place? And that's why this Navadvip Parikrama.
I try to make so much effort, I'm not getting anywhere indeed.
Yes, because then you have to take, Gurudev was taking, we take shelter of Gaur Nityananda's names. Gurudev was telling in one lecture that Krishna Nam Kare Aparadhar Vichar, Nama Lete Aparadhar Naha Vikar, Bahu Janma Karyadi Shravana Kirtana, Tabutana Paya Krishna Pade Premadhana, Chaitanya Nityananda Yesama Vichar, Nama Lete Premadhana Bhaya Shudhar. That there may be consideration of offense in Krishna Nam, but there is no such consideration in chanting the names of Gaur Nityananda Prabhu and their dham. So we take shelter of Navadvip Dham, chant the names of Gaur Nityananda Prabhu, and immediately tears will come in the eyes. So Gurudev was giving an example of Haridas Thakur. That Lord Brahma once he stole the cows and cowherd boys of Krishna. Then when he stole the cows and cowherd boys of Krishna, Brahma went with Surabhi cow and asked forgiveness to Krishna. Then he told Krishna that you are coming in Kali Yuga, but that time I should not take birth in a Brahmin family or very high class like a Brahma, but let me take birth in a Muslim family. Let me take birth in a Yamana family, so that I will not become proud. I will not be very puffed up. And that's why same Brahma came as Haridas Thakur. And he was chanting 3 lakh holy names every day. Understand? 3 lakh holy names is like 192 rounds.
1 lakh is how much?
64 rounds. 64 rounds. So 3 lakh is like 192 rounds he was chanting. So much he was attached to chanting that one envious person by the name Ramchandra Khan, he sent a prostitute to contaminate Haridas Thakur. But that prostitute came to Haridas Thakur. She bowed down before Haridas Thakur. She bowed down to Tulsi in the courtyard of Haridas Thakur. And she started attracting the heart of Haridas Thakur by her feminine movements and gestures. But Haridas Thakur was never swayed. And he told her that I want to enjoy with you. I want to fulfill your desire. But I have not finished my rounds. I have taken a vow of chanting 1 crore holy names in a month. Means every day I must chant 3 lakh, 4 lakh or even 5 lakh holy name. So let me keep on chanting the holy name. Once my today's quota is finished, I will fulfill a desire. But he never stopped chanting. Next day she came.
How much is a crore?
Yes, she came 2 days, 3 days. Consecutively she came. But then she realized that he is not attached to me. He is only attached to the holy name. She bowed down to him. She surrendered to him. He told her, shave your head. And you should wear white sari. Give all your gold and all the material wealth to the Brahmanas. Donate it. because all the money is earned by vice, by the provision of prostitution. And you sit here and you chant Hare Krishna. All your needs will be taken care. People used to bring her so many offerings, rice, dal, and so many groceries. She used to distribute all these groceries to the Brahmanas. Keep only what she needed. Kept on chanting 2 lakh, 3 lakh holy names. And she also became a great devotee by the influence of Haridas Thakur. Although she was a prostitute, later on she became a great devotee. People used to come from very far away areas to see that exalted devotee. A complete transformation in a prostitute. Understand? So bhakti is so purifying. Even a person of abominable character becomes completely purified. There is no process, Srila Gurudev said, that which is as powerful as bhakti. So Gurudev is telling that Yannam adheya shravananu kirtanat yas smaranatyah pravanat api kuchit padopi sadyo savanaya kalpate kutah punaste bhagavanu darshanat. What to speak of having direct audience face to face with Bhagavan? Even if someone will hear the holy name of Krishna even once, even if he is born in a dog-eater family, that person will become qualified to perform Vedic sacrifice. In an instant, instantly he becomes purified. Such power of the holy name. That's why Srila Gurudev said, always go on Nagar Kirtan. Always go for Nagar Kirtan, chant Hare Krishna mantra. Go to those areas. Sometimes there is a danger to the life, like Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu went, Jagai Madhai. They attacked Jagai and Nityananda Prabhu. But did they stop chanting? No, they kept on chanting. Jagai Madhai were rectified. There was only one Jagai and Madhai in the past. Now everyone is Jagai and Madhai. Understand? Everywhere there people are drinking liquor. Understand? So much liquor. Like yes.
They are. In India, they have a lot of work to do. They have to do a lot of work with people over there.
Yes.
I guess
actually,
it's the
whole
food
world
that
is
they
like
eat.
That. Not only India, the whole world is now in the grips of Kali Yuga. But although Shri Gurudev said that although Kali Yuga is so fallen, although Kali Yuga is so bad, but Kaler Doshanidhe Rajan Asti Eko Mahan Guna Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Bhajit. Although Kali Yuga is so fallen age, but there is one great quality in Kali Yuga, that if you chant the name of Krishna, the perfection you can achieve very rapidly. Other ages, it will take millions of years to get perfection. But that perfection is achieved in a span of very short time in Kali Yuga. That's why Parikshit Maharaj, when he saw the personality of Kali beating this bull, was dharma personified. This bull was standing on only one leg. That leg was truthfulness. The personified dharma is the bull. And the bull has 4 legs. Truthfulness, cleanliness, like this. Austerity, like this. So, now this bull was standing on only one leg. And this Shudra looking person, who was dressed like a king, but although he was a Shudra, he dressed like a king, was beating that bull. And he had broken the 3 legs of that bull. So Parikshit Maharaj went and he actually strung his bow. And he was about to release the arrow to kill the personality of Kali, the age of quarrel, hypocrisy personified. And Kali Yuga said, stop. Don't kill me. I am assigned this age by Lord Brahma. And don't you know my great quality? In my age, if anyone will chant Harinam even little bit, he will get perfection. So I have some purpose. So anyway, Parikshit Maharaj said, I will spare your life, but you cannot stay in my kingdom. Then he said, okay, you give me some place where I can stay. He said, you can stay in 4 places, where there is meat eating, where there is gambling, where there is intoxication, where there is illicit sex. You can stay there, those places. But he said, I need one more place to stay. Then he said, you can stay where there is plenty of wealth and gold. So generally you see people who are having too much excessive wealth, excessive gold, they are under the influence of Kali Yuga. Understand? So Srila Gurudev said that this wealth, very dangerous. It can be the cause of your death. This wealth can kill you. Nityartidana vityana durlabam atma murtina. Srila Gurudev was telling that even for small kambal, small blanket, in Brajavasi, some residents of Vrindavan killed the sadhus. Just they wanted a warm blanket from them sadhu. So dangerous. Those who kill the sadhus are not real Brajavasis, Gurudev was telling.
Yeah.
The
That
real
is
Brajavasis
why
are,
that is why Jesus born in a stable where
yes,
cows are, because nobody was there to receive him and give him nothing.
right.
That is how poor the mind is.
Yeah. So you see that Gurudev was telling like this, that these are the messengers of God. Jesus, Muhammad.
Yeah.
Gurudev was telling that they are Shakti Avish Avatar. They brought a message of God. Understand? The Gurudev was telling today in one class he gave in Rotary Club in Mumbai. I was watching a video, and Gurudev was telling that actually there are not many religions. Don't think that there is Christianity, there is Islam, there is Buddhism, there is Taoism, there is Zoroastrian faith, and this and blah blah blah, and Hinduism. No, no. There's only one religion, Gurudev was telling. Love is the only religion. Love of God.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Whether it is Buddha or Christ or Christos or Allah or Krishna, there's only one God and only one religion. Loving that God is the only religion. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to us to teach us how to love God. He was Krishna himself, but he was teaching by his own example how to pray for Krishna, how to weep for Krishna, how to pray to Krishna, how to please Krishna. And he taught his by a personal example. Like Mahaprabhu used to go to the Ganga river. He used to see young girls there. The girls in India, they have a habit of worshipping Ganga river. They worship also the deity of Shiva, Shivalinga, like this. They sometimes worship Durga also. India, that is the thing, a big problem. They are worshipping demigods, so many demigods, who are not as equal to Krishna. But in the Western world, this problem is not there, Srila Gurudev told. In the Western world, there is no demigod worship. They only worship one God. So, but India, so anyways, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to tell those girls who are worshipping Ganga and all, that Ganga came from my lotus feet as Vaman Dev.
Yeah.
Ganga is my maid servant. Lord
Yeah.
Shiva and Durga also my maid servant and servants. If you don't give the sweets which you have for Ganga Puja and Shiva's Puja to me, I will curse you. You will not get a good husband, you will get an old husband, and you would have so many wives already. And you will be another wife of him. So like this, then the girls used to say, hey, don't you feel ashamed to say that you are the master of Ganga and Shiva? So Mahaprabhu used to tell them the truth, but they didn't believe the truth. Understand? So this Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. Sadopasya Shriman Drutamanaj Kai Pranayitam Vahadvir Girvaner Girisha Parameshti Prabhutivi Sa Bhaktebhya Shuddham Nija Bhajana Mudranupadishan Sa Chaitanya Kimme Pundarapedishar Yasati Pada. He is the Lord of Brahma. Girvan means Brahma. Girish means the Lord of Kailash, Shiva. He is the master of Shiva and Brahma. He is always worshipped by them. But they didn't believe. So anyways, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is more magnanimous, more merciful than even Krishna. Krishna is merciful, but Mahaprabhu is even more merciful. He had a desire to preach the holy word. Every town and village, my name will be preached. That's why this preaching is taking place by the mercy of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and our Gurudev, Kripa Dandi Maharaj, and all the Vaishnavas are preaching now. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Gurudev, how to shatter ego?
Actually, there are two types of egos. There is one false ego and there is a real ego. The real ego is that I am the servant of Krishna. So first, that's why we have to, Mahaprabhu, he told the verse that Naham Vipro, I am not a Brahman. Naham Vipro, Nachandarapatir, Nabi Vaishyan Shudro, Nova Varni, Nachagruhapatir, Vanastho Yatirva, Kintu Prodyan, Nikhila Paramananda, Puranamrutabdhir, Gopi Bharatru Padakamal, Dasa, Dasa, Anudasa. I am the servant of Krishna, who is the beloved of the gopis. That's all. I am not American, I am not Guyanese, I am not from Trinidad, I am not from Suriname or Holland, I am not South African, I am not European, Chinese, Caucasian, nothing. These are all body. I am not this body. This body is made of urine, pus and stool. Understand? I am a part and parcel of Krishna. I am a servant of Krishna. So serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of servitorship. You cannot think that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is my husband. That mood doesn't apply to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot be served in the conjugal love. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be served only in the mood of servitorship. He is the master, I am the servant. But when you develop that mood of being the servant of Mahaprabhu, Sachinandan Gaurahari, then you will develop the conjugal relationship with Krishna under the guidance of Radharani. So then your real identity will come. Understand? So basically, false ego is the part of subtle body. We have, as soon as we came in this world of Maya, this Mike world, the Maya gave us two type of cloaks, dresses, outer coverings. One is a subtle body and one the gross body. Although we leave the gross body after death, the subtle body takes us to another body. The subtle body doesn't leave us. The subtle body or Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body will continue to be with us till we get liberation. Once we get liberation, the subtle body also vanishes. And then we are situated in the soul. Our real identity is the soul. Like Gurudev was giving an example. If there is a war between two countries, for example, now war is going on between, say, two countries.
Yeah.
People will support their own country. Oh, I will support my own country. But if there is a war going on within the country, between one state and another state, one province and another province, then we will support our own province. But if the war is going on between our neighborhood and other persons in the neighborhood, then we will support our own neighborhood. If the war is going with our own relatives, uncle and our father, we will support our own father, not the uncle. But if the war is going on between the husband and wife, and the husband and the children, then the wife, what she will do? She will support the husband, not the children, because she has taken a vow that I will stay with the husband for 7 lifetimes. But if the war is going on between husband and wife, then who she will support? She will suffer herself, not the husband. Understand? Ultimately speaking, we love ourselves. Even if we love others.
What Draupadi did?
Patidev. So even if the wife is loving the husband, her intention is not actually giving pleasure to the husband. She is loving him for her own pleasure. Actually, when we are loving someone, actually it's ultimately our own pleasure is there. Understand? So you see that we love ourselves the most because our Atma we love the most. Even if suppose my hand develops gangrene and doctor says amputate your hand, although I love my finger, my hand very much, I will not think twice if I am going to die. I will amputate my hand also. Because that gangrene hand may carry so much infection and I may die. So in fact, we don't love our body as much as we love the soul. And no one wants to die. No one wants to become old because they know that we are all the soul. We are the soul. That's why we don't want to die. The soul is eternal. And the soul also we love because within the soul there is another soul, that is Paramatma. And that we really love. We love the soul because of Paramatma only. Understand?
So then the right thing is don't support no country.
Actually, why we should support a country? Suppose I am supporting, say, India. Next lifetime I take birth in, say, England. Then I will support England. For example, right now I have a consciousness that I am Indian. And I am working for the India's welfare. But then, if a next lifetime I die and I take birth in England, I will say I am British. I will identify as my British identity. Actually, we don't belong to India or England or Europe or anything. We are actually part and parcel of Krishna. These are all external things. Understand? These are external designations. Understand? We are not
Oh.
even male and female. We are all servants of Krishna. We are not Kshatriya, Brahmachari, Vanaprastha or anything.
So
We are servants of
Draupadi's story.
Ah.
So Draupadi's story, when she was, she had 5 husbands, and then Krishna had to come and save her. That was soul consciousness.
Actually, Draupadi's 5 husbands. There are many angles that there may be a special class required on Draupadi herself. Understand? But Draupadi, she had 5 husbands, but she really loved Krishna the most. Understand? That's why Krishna used to call her Sakhi.
Friend.
And means like
Friend.
good friend. But without any lust, like a friend. And she also used to call Krishna Sakha. And Krishna, among all the 5 Pandavas, what I heard is that she was the most advanced. She was more advanced than her husband. And when she called out to Krishna, Hey Govinda, Hey Gopal, Govinda Damodar Madhavati, please save me. Krishna took the shape of Sari and protected her, chastity, in the court in the assembly of Kauravas. And Agre Kurunam, Atapantavanam, Dushyasanena, Vritavastra Krishna Tadakrusha, Nanyanata, Govinda Damodar. She called out Govinda Damodar. She was Ekavastra. She was only wearing one cloth. And she was Rajaswala. She was in menstrual cycle. She was impure. And still Dushyasan dragged her outside. She was helpless and Krishna helped her. So you can see that Draupadi, she is called Kanya. Although she had 5 husbands, she is called a teenage girl. Why? Because she had no real affection for any of her husbands. She had only affection for Krishna.
But then look what the people do. Painted her badly all over the world.
Actually,
in my
people have no
childhood days,
intelligence. People paint Krishna also badly. People are not understanding. They say that Krishna was immoral. Understand? Krishna had lusty affairs with girls, others' wives. Because, generally speaking, if I have bad qualities and if I have lust, I'll try to project that on others. Understand? That is the nature of the world. We have so many bad qualities and we try to Atmavat, in Sanskrit it is told Atmavat Manyate Jagat. We think that the whole world is like us only. No.
yeah.
We have bad qualities, we project them on others and we think they also have bad qualities. Understand? So, if you are lusty, then you'll see the whole world is full of only beautiful women. Kami Pashyati Samasta Jagatam Kamini Mayam. Understand? So, Draupadi has no fault. She is a pure devotee. She is a very exalted devotee. Not ordinary girl. She was come from the fire. Understand? Draupadi, if you remember in the morning, Ahalya, Mando, Dari, Tara, all these women of great caliber, your day will go very nice. They are purifying.
Yeah.
She is given an example of complete surrender. Complete surrender.
Well, she was given a mantra. Is it true? She was given a mantra when she saw the sun. She must invoke it.
She was?
She was given a mantra by her guru to invoke the sun.
Draupadi.
Is it true?
No, Draupadi actually, she begot one son each from each Pandava. But
No, I'm talking about this. No, I'm talking about the S-U-N, the sun that comes out in the morning.
No, that is Kunti. That is Kunti.
Kunti. Okay.
Kunti was the mother of 5 Pandavas, 3 Pandavas. Like, for example, Arjuna, Bhim, and Yudhishthir were born from Kunti. And 2 more sons, Nakul and Sahadev, they were born from Madhurya. So Pandu Maharaj, the son of Vichitra Virja, and he was having two wives, Kunti and Madhurya. Whereas Kunti begot to him 3 sons. Yudhishthir, he was the religion personified. Bhima was Vayudev incarnation. And Arjuna was incarnation of Indra. Arjuna. They're all very purifying personalities. They're great devotees. Like Gurudev was telling a story that about Samudra Sen. There was a king called Samudra Sen. He was a great devotee of Krishna. He was living in Bengal. So Bhim was sent by Yudhishthira Maharaj to conquer the eastern direction. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was performing Rajasuya sacrifice for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. He wanted to show the world that Krishna is the most worshipable personality. So he wanted to conquer the whole world and offer that whole world to Krishna's lotus feet. To increase the glories of Krishna, he was performing Rajasuya sacrifice. So he had sent the horse of Rajasuya sacrifice in the eastern direction with Bhima. So Bhima went with that horse. That horse was arrested by Samudra Sen, the king of Bengal. And he challenged Bhima because Samudra Sen wanted darshan of Sri Krishna. So he said, if I trouble Bhima, Krishna will certainly come to protect Bhima. So he fought so valiantly against Bhima, Bhima was almost defeated. So Bhima prayed to Krishna, oh Krishna, my elder brother is doing this Rajasuya sacrifice for your glories. And see, now this Samudra Sen has almost defeated me. Please save me, please save me. Then Radha Krishna appeared before Samudra Sen. When he saw the beautiful form of Radha Krishna, Samudra Sen dropped his bow and arrow. And he with folded hands stood before Radha Krishna. Then he told Radha Krishna, I just don't want to see your form. I want to also see your combined form as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Radha Krishna combined and they gave darshan to him as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Samudra Sen, he told Bhima that I have lost, you have won. I give you the letter of victory. Please, you can think me that I have become the subservient to Yudhishthira. I don't want to fight anymore. So he did this only to have darshan of Radha Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He gave trouble to Bhima. So Gurudev tells that then a debate used to take place in that place, Samudragad. Samudragad is the place where Samudra, the ocean, developed a desire to see pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he asked his wife, because all the rivers are the wives of the Samudra, the ocean. So Samudra came there taking shelter of his wife Ganga and saw Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So that is where in Samudragad, Samudra Sen. So debate is to take place. Who is the superior devotee? Bhima is superior or Samudra Sen is superior? Sripad Bhaktivedanta, Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Trivikram Maharaj is to take side of King Samudra Sen, of Bhima. And Gurudev is to take the side of Samudra Sen. But Gurudev said that Bhima Sen was the devotee of Dwarkadish Krishna. But Samudra Sen was the devotee of Rajendranandan Shyam Sundar Krishna. And he had darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So Gurudev said, because Samudra Sen is much higher level of devotee than Bhima. But Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Maharaj used to take side of Bhima. So they used to debate like this so that we can understand the Siddhanta.
Yeah.
But devotee is considered greater if his Upasya Tattva is greater. Samudra Sen's Upasya Tattva was Vrajendranandan Shyam Sundar Krishna. So he is a higher level devotee. And Bhima's Upasya deity, worshipable deity is Dwarkadish Krishna. So he is not as high level. Understand? This is a Siddhanta.
That debate is going on all the time at every level.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nice meeting you, Gurudev.
Thank you, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I'll hear from you soon.
Sure, Didi. Yeah? I'll be in touch and please attend the online classes, okay? Hare Krishna.
Yes, you will connect me when you have class.
Sure.
Vishaka Didi, she actually is linking me. We have a singing going on every single morning, 1 hour.
Very good, very good.
And she's helping me a lot.
Yeah, actually, she is a good devotee, and all the devotees here, they are all, following in the guidance of Sripad Dandi Maharaj, all of us. And after Gurudev's departure, our Gurudev is our my Diksha Guru and Sannyas Guru also. But Sripad Dandi Maharaj is my Shiksha Guru. So we are all in the team of Sripad Dandi Maharaj, and we are serving our Guru Maharaj under the guidance of Sripad Dandi Maharaj. And So that's why Sripad Dandi Maharaj inspiration. Vishaka Didi arranges these classes. And Sripad Dandi Maharaj is the Diksha Guru of Vishaka Didi, and so like this. So we are all, because we have to stay under the shelter after Gurudev leaves the world. We have to stay under the shelter of an elevated devotee. Understand?
Yes, yes,
because
yes.
Otherwise Maya is very strong. If we are not without any shelter, Maya will attack
Catch
us.
you. Yes.
So we'll try to always follow in the guidance of a pure devotee, an elevated devotee, like Sripad Dandi Maharaj is a very honest devotee and simple-hearted and knowing all the Siddhanta, Tattva and very humble. Understand? Humility is very important. Srila Gurudev told that you may have all the knowledge in the world, but if you are not humble, then big problems will come. So Gurudev said, Siddha Pranali, the only way we can become perfect is Trunadapi Sunichena Tarurapi Saishtuna Amanina Mandhyana Kirtaniya Sadhari. More humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree. Understand? We have to give respect to everyone else and not expect any respect in return. That is what we have to learn, Srila Gurudev told. So we are all trying to follow that. This is our most important instruction Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us. So Srila Gurudev always emphasized this: be humble, don't criticize others, don't see the faults of others, don't try to. Obviously, you have to protest when the Guru is criticized, Vaishnavas are criticized, like Hanuman.
Yes.
Hanuman did not show Trunadapisanichena to Ravana. Ravana
but he
kidnapped
protests.
Sita and then he burned the whole Lanka. But we should not be like Hanuman, but rather we should cut the arguments if anyone is criticizing. Gurudev was telling, if anyone is criticizing my Gurudev or my worshipable Vaishnava, then I should try to cut his arguments. And if you don't have that
that is protesting, because Hanuman protests. Yes, say nothing. Say nothing.
Hanuman did not get any sin. Understand? Because he did it for the Ram. Understand?
Right.
So many people may have died, some Brahmanas may have died,
when Jesus went,
died.
When Jesus was crucified, they asked him to protest, to defend himself, and he said no.
Yeah.
So
Jesus, he was basically Dandi Maharaj was told that he was crucified because he was vegetarian. They wanted to eat meat and he was telling, don't take meat. Bible says, give me broma. Broma means food. But they translated the Bible, broma means meat. Every time Jesus says, give me meat, actually it means give food. The most preferred food was actually bread and honey. Understand?
Oh.
That was
bread and honey?
Food. Bread and honey, that is what they used to eat. But now, Gurudev tells, and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj also says that the biggest of the slaughterhouses are opened by Christians. Once Gurudev went to Pope, to see Pope, he wanted to see Pope in Vatican. So he went to Vatican and he wanted to meet Pope because Pope is such a great teacher, spiritual master of so big religion. So when Gurudev went there, he saw one Goshala, one cow barn, where so many calves, small calves were there. So Gurudev asked why these calves are there. Then he said, the Pope doesn't like to eat beef of the grown-up cows. He likes to eat the tender meat of newly born calves.
That's what they do in America.
The Gurudev felt revolted. And he said, this is not Pope, this is Pap. He's a sin personified. He said, he's not Pope, he's a Pap. And I will not want to meet him. And he will have to definitely suffer for this. What these calves have done to this Pope or cardinals, they are so innocent. Gurudev said he was very angry. Understand? So this is what is going on. Innocent cows.
The Western world actually is killing people in this way.
Yes.
No respect. They're rebuking. They don't understand what they're rebuking. And if angel come, they rebuke it. So it's not a good religion to follow. It's not.
Actually, Christianity, Jesus, you can follow him. He was an ideal teacher. Muhammad was an ideal teacher. But they never understood Jesus. The real Christians are the Vaishnavas. Gurudev said,
I don't think Muhammad was a ideal teacher. The real teacher, you said, is the Vaishnava. They are the real teacher, not Muhammad. Not
any religion.
Muhammad struggled a lot to survive, to see the outer world. He didn't see the outer world to me.
Yeah, actually, he is Srila Bhakti Ekadsi Maharaj. He has written elaborately about this, about Muhammad and others. One time I'll read his thoughts to you. What he said about Muhammad, what he said about Jesus. Srila Bhakti Gurudev also actually has spoken, because Srila Bhakti Ekadsi Maharaj, he was a great philosopher, great devotee. See, generally speaking, for example, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he was in Navadvip. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada had arranged Navadvip Dham Parikrama. Long ago, I think 1925, 1926, last century. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada used to say that not only Brahmins, but anyone born in any family can be given Gayatri initiation. He can become a Vaishnava. Because we have to see his qualification, not his birth. He may be low born, but he can be qualified if he has aptitude and he has qualification and desire to become a devotee. He can be devotee and he can be Brahman. So he was giving Brahminical initiation to persons born in low class family also. So many people, many Brahmanas were very angry with this attitude of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. And they wanted to kill Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. So when Parikrama began, they attacked with soda water bottle, bricks, and so many sticks. They attacked, hot water, and whatnot. Everyone ran away. Many disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada ran away to save themselves. But Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he exchanged his clothes with Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. He gave his white clothes to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. He took the saffron clothes of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, his sannyas danda also. And then he arranged him to stay in one house of a devotee. And then he escaped also to Mayapur. So that very day he got sannyas from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. He accepted not that he got a separate danda, he got the own danda of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, own clothes of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. So actually 3 times previously Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada had told Vinod Bihari Brahmachari, take sannyas, take sannyas, take sannyas. But managers of Chaitanya Gaudiya, Chaitanya Math were not willing to release Vinod Bihari Prabhu. Say that he is very important for management. If he gives sannyas, who will manage the math? But now that day, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada gave him sannyas anyways. He saved the life of his Gurudev, even sacrificing his own life. He didn't worry for his own safety. He was worried more about the safety of his Guru. So Guru Nishtha, the dedication to the spiritual master, is the backbone of bhakti. Understand?
Yeah.
So like
yes,
Judas.
I understand that.
Like Judas, he turned in Jesus. Understand? He turned against Jesus. And Jesus was smiling at him. And he was telling, he felt pity for Judas. He said that, oh Judas, the whole history will rebuke you, will look down upon you. You are making such a great sacrifice. The whole history looks upon down. Like Kaikai. Like Kaikai loved the Ram the most, but Ram told her, you have to send me to the forest. If you love me, you send me to the forest, because I have to kill so many demons and I have to kill Ravana. So Kaikai is, people criticize Kaikai. But actually Kaikai was a great devotee. She sacrificed her good name for satisfying Ram. Like many times, the demons also, Anirudh Prabhu also told. He said, Duryodhan or Ravana, don't criticize them. Ravana actually was a Vaishnava. He was Jay and Vijay, the fallen from Vaikuntha. Understand? Ravan did this only to, as a Leela, to satisfy the Lord. Understand? So,
Wow.
he said, don't commit offense even to Ravan and Duryodhana. There, if they are not there, then what pastimes will take place? Understand? So, even the demons who are in the Mahaprabhu, in Krishna's pastimes, they are also not ordinary. They are also not ordinary. They are there only to, if Ravan would not kidnap Sita, then how would we see all this Ramayana, all this sweet pastimes happen? Understand?
Yeah. The Leela for
Leela.
Kalyug to live.
Not that I am supporting Ravan mentality, is actually my worry, but I am saying that actually Ravan, the Bhagavatam says that he was Jay and Vijay, Ravan and Kumbhakarna. They were not demons, but they wanted to satisfy the Lord by the mood of chivalry, the mood of heroism. So they cannot fight in Vaikuntha, so they took 3 births and satisfy the Lord. Hiranyakshi, Hiranyakashipu, they became first incarnation, then Ravan, Kumbhakarna, then Shishupal, Dantavakra, and Lord. Then in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, again they came as Jagai Madhari. Again Nityananda Prabhu delivered them. Understand? So demons also not ordinary. Understand?
You know,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Gurudev, thank you so much. The first time I'm keeping Ekadasi, I decided to close my door for 24 hours and look at the blessing I get.
Yes.
Just
You
to
got
make
a lot of
one
Sukruti today
decision.
by doing Ekadashi. I congratulate you.
Yeah.
You got great Sukruti and continue to do Ekadashi without fail. Okay?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't fail. This is a big blessing to take a big step like this and get you to talk to me for over an hour. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Maharaj. Sorry, I just have one question, Maharaj. Sorry.
Okay.
You spoke about Lord Hanuman defending for his guru. Now, in a situation as I am not so elevated, but somebody offended Gurudev, so how do I take a step forward and it's also another Maharaj that offended Gurudev saying it to me, but so me as a fallen soul person, how do I react to a Maharaj saying it to Gurudev,
Actually, the best thing is to leave that place. Bhagavatam says that you should leave the place where your guru is criticized. You should not. It is very detrimental for our spiritual life that we hear the criticism of our spiritual master. If you are capable, you cut his arguments to pieces. Understand? By writing a letter or by writing to that person, by verbally or by written communication. And if you are not so elevated in scriptures and you cannot cut his arguments, then you should leave that place. And Bhagavatam says you should take bath with all your clothes on in the Ganges river. Take bath in the Ganges. So it means that you should leave that place. You have no duty to hear the criticism of your spiritual master. Whether spiritual master is good or bad, that consideration Srila Gurudev told, you should consider before you take initiation. After you take initiation, you have no chance of seeing any faults in your spiritual master. He is as good as Krishna for you. Understand? Everything should be determined before you take initiation. Then you deliberate, is he compatible for me? If he has good character, if he is this, that. But after you are initiated, then your faith nothing should shake his faith, shake your faith. Like for example, Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj saw that one time they implicated Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj in a false case of murder. And Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj went to jail with many members of Gaudiya Math because there was a false implication. But when Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj had not taken initiation from Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, but his faith in Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj did not shake even an inch. Understand? Yeah. Although he saw his Gurudev was in the jail, and Gurudev gave him his mantra through the bars of the jail. So no one, whatever, once we accepted someone as a spiritual master, then nothing should shake our faith. If someone is criticizing Gurudev, we should leave that place. Immediately we should leave. Bhagavatam says we should cut his tongue, but that is not possible. So You should cut his tongue means cut his arguments. And if you cannot cut his arguments, you are not so strong scriptural argument. Leave that place and take bath. Chant Hare Krishna. Bow down to Tulsi. And it so happened many times. In my Gurudev also was criticized. I used to leave that place. Any web page criticizing Gurudev, I used to close it immediately. And used to, because what will remain with me if I don't have no faith in my Guru? When Krishna was there, he did not deliver me. Ramanujacharya was also there. I was also a devotee that time, maybe. Or maybe not a devotee, I don't know. Ramanujacharya did not deliver me. Madhurya also did not deliver me. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj used to say that I was there when Narottam Das Thakur was there. He did not deliver me. Vishwanacharya Thakur was there when I was there. He did not deliver me. My Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada has delivered me. How can I hear his criticism? So many people, they criticize Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Sundarananda Vidyanand, Ananta Vasudeva Prabhu. They say that Prabhupada only talks Siddhanta. He doesn't know Rasa. He only talks Dai Siddhanta. What happened? They finally went to hell by criticizing their Guru. If you have no faith in our Guru, then we don't regard him, even if he is Madhyamadikari, you should think he is Krishna only. For me, he is Krishna. Understand? Follow his instructions. Don't see his faults.
Oh, Gurudev, that is a good advice. It's happening on on this part of the world. People are criticizing other good people, and this is why everybody is falling.
Yes.
This
we
is
should
what
not.
Is going on. Thanks. Thank you so much for that.
How many people are there? Understand? Following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like my Guru Maharaj. How many people were there like that? And he was still criticized. And Srila Dandi Maharaj also. You see, such a simple-hearted sadhu, such a great character, no attachment for wine, wealth, woman, opposite sex, name, fame, adoration, prestige, serving cows, doing Agnihotra, helping everyone. Hundreds, thousands of people all over the world are doing Ekadashi because Dandi Maharaj preaching. Understand? Translating so many books, helping so many souls, giving shelter to helpless men, women, children. He's an ideal sannyasi. What we can say about him? We should actually not forget about Sripad Dandi Maharaj. We should not criticize anyone. Understand? Even anyone, not only him, but his disciples also we should not criticize. Even a person is not initiated, don't criticize him. Parasvabhava karmani ya samshati ya garhati sa ashu bhashyate swartat asatsa vinivishata. Srila Gurudev told that if you criticize anyone, you will fall down from your path of paramartha, spiritual welfare.
Definitely.
Parasvabhava karmani na samshayat na karayat vishwam ekatmakam paschan prakritya purushena cha. And why criticize anyone? That person will be rectified by a spiritual master. Like one time, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada went to one temple. He asked, where is that brahmachari who was working very hard? They said that we kicked out that brahmachari, we chastised him so much because he was attached to a woman. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said that I don't want to stay in this temple, I don't want to inaugurate this temple, I don't want to install deities here, bring that devotee back. We are spending gallons and gallons of blood to make one devotee. And you kicked him out by your harsh words. So then Bhakti Daivata Maharaj Ekadsi Maharaj, Haigriv Brahmachari Prabhu went, he begged to that devotee. He was working in a watch factory. He said, Prabhupada is remembering you. He began to cry. He went to Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, you are so merciful. I was fallen, but you remember me. And he washed the feet of Prabhupada by his tears. And all his lust and anger and madness and envy was washed in a moment because of his Guru's mercy. And he became pure devotee. So, Prabhupada said, no, very difficult to make a devotee. And for a small reason you kicked him out? No. Bring him back, otherwise I will not stay here even for a moment. I will never come here and I will never install our deities here. I will not inaugurate this temple. That devotee was working so hard, and why you spoke him harshly? He was attached to woman. Guru will purify him. Krishna will purify him. Who are you to chastise anyone? Are you the masters? Understand? What qualification you have? Hare Krishna. Dandavad, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Gurudev, that was so good.
Beautiful. Happy Ekadashi.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Maharaj. Thank you so much. Maharaj,
Dandavad.
Dandavad, I'll ask Hanup to unmute now and you must tell his name. Give him your blessing. Thank you so
I'll
much.
ask Maharaj, okay? Yes.
No, Hanup will give it to you now.
Hari Bol,
Yes.
Hari Krishna, Guru Maharaj. My
Hare
name is-
Krishna, Prabhu. Congratulations for taking initiation.
Thank you so much, all to your. Thank you so much for the class, Gurudev. I'm, it's so much enlightening.
Hanup,
This
put your
class is.
camera on.
This one.
Yes.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite enlightening, the classes. I really enjoyed, and yeah, as Mataji said, I got Diksha initiation from Sripad Nandi Maharaj, and my new name is Ananga Mohan Das.
Oh, very good. Very nice. I'm so happy.
Thank you so much, Guru. I have a question. If you'll be able to take it now, or
Pardon?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay,
You do one kirtan first. You two sing on kirtan. Then I will answer your question. Okay? Because you have good voice. Hare Krishna.
Okay, let me see if I can get it.
Sing one kirtan. Because today is Ekadashi. You get married by singing kirtan. Sing one kirtan. Okay?
Okay, let me just get on Kirtan. Hold on.
Any kirtan.
Yeah, I'll see.
Hari Bol. You know Jai Radha Madhava?
Okay. Okay. Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishore Radha Krishna
Prana Mora
Yugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Ar Nahi Mor Jivane Marane Gati Ar Nahi Mor Radha Krishna Prana Mor Yugal Kishore Kalindir Kule Keli kadambini14 Kalindir Kule Keli kadambini14 Ratana Vidira Upara Duhijana Ratana Vidira Upar Bosab Duhijana Radha Krishna Prana Mor Yugal Kishore Shama Gori Ange Dibo Chadanire Ganda Shama Gori Ange Dibo Chadanire Ganda Shama Dulabo Kabe Erebo Mukha Chandra Chamara Dulabe
Kabe
Chandra Radha Krishna Prana Yugala
Kishora
Gatiya Malyatira
Dibo Dohar Gale
Gatiya Malyatira
Dibo Dohar Gale
Adare Tuliya
Dibo
Asura Tambole
Adare
Adare
Tuliya Dibo
Asura Tambole Radha Krishna Prana Mor Yugala Kishore
Radha Krishna Prana Mora
Yugala
Kishora
Vishaka Adi Jato Shake Vrinda Lalita
Lita Vishakhadi Jata Sakhi Vrinda
Apneya koribo seva charane aravinda.
Ajaya kariba seva
Charane aravinda.
Naravinda
Radha Krishna Pranamora Yugala Kishore Radha
Radha Krishna Prana
Pranamora
Mora
Yugala
Yugala Kishora
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasanudas Shri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Dasanudas
Dasanudas
Deva Bilash Kahare Narottama Das
Seva Vilasha Kare Narottama Dasa
Radha Krishna Pranamora Yugala Kishore Radha Krishna
Krishna Prana Mora Jugala
Yugala
Kishore.
Kishore.
Very good, very good. Okay,
Gurudev,
Ah,
Gurudev, let me sing a verse for you. I didn't
okay,
know you like singing.
all right.
Adharam madhuram kadanam madhuram nayanam madhuram asitam madhuram hridayam madhuram gamanam madhuram madhuradipate akhilam madhuram asitam madhuram charitam madhuram vasitam madhuram valitam madhuram chalitam madhuram brahmanam madhuram madhuradipate akhilam madhuram madhuradipate akhilam madhuram. Jai Gurudev.
Very beautiful, very beautiful. This is Vallabhacharya's Madhurashtakam. Vallabhacharya was actually a Brahmin. He was from Andhra Pradesh. And he met Mahaprabhu. He was an associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to take sannyas, renounce order of life. And he had two children. His wife was not giving him permission to take sannyas. So he became, one time he set his house on fire. His wife said, "Get out of the house. House is on fire. Get out of the house." Then he left the house and he said, "You have given me permission to leave the house. So I'm going taking sannyas." So trickily he took sannyas, So Vallabhacharya was incarnation. In Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, it is told that Vallabhacharya is incarnation of Shukadeva Goswami. Understand? Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, who spoke Bhagavatam. That is Vallabhacharya. Understand? So Anuprabhu, what is your question?
Sorry about that, Maharaj. Yeah, I noticed when we read that there's a section which said that Madhya Adhikaris can only bestow bhakti.
Yes.
Then my question is, what is the function of Uttama Adhikaris then? What is their role?
Uttamadhikari can also bestow bhakti. Kanishtadhikari for them very difficult. But Uttamadhikari, like Gurudev was Uttamadhikari, he was giving bhakti. Understand? And we cannot think that my Gurudev was Madhyamadhikari. He was Uttamadhikari, he was giving bhakti. I have seen him giving bhakti. But apparently he was playing the, but what happens that Uttamadhikari are so elevated, they don't discriminate. They see everyone is devotee. Even those who are non-devotees, they look upon them as devotees. Because they have no discrimination. Shuni chaiva shobhakecha pandita samadarshina. Understand? They treat everyone equally. So for them, they think like Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj was such an elevated Vaishnava. He used to think that Duryodhana is also a good person. He never used to see any bad person. Understand? So pure devotees are like that. So how how they can give bhakti if they are seeing everyone as a devotee? They see the whole world, everyone is devotee. Understand? So then the Ishwareshu, Tadineshu, Balisheshu, Disasucha, Prema Maitri Krupa Apeksha Yakaroti Samadhyama. These qualities are in the Madhyamadikari. Understand? So Madhyamadikari, he will discriminate. He will have that quality. He will have love and affection for Supreme Lord. But those are balish, those are ignorant, he will show compassion to them. He will preach to them. Those are, envious of the Supreme Lord or his devotees, he will ignore them. And with the devotees of the Lord, he will have friendship. Understand? So these 4 types of dealings are generally done by the Madhyamadikari. So when you take Diksha, you actually come to Madhyamadikari. Means your Madhyamadikari has begun. If you are not taken Diksha, then you are in Karishtadikari. But Madhyamadikari means once you have a relationship with Krishna, you have a sense of relationship with Krishna, then you are in Madhyamadikari. Understand? But Uttamadikari apparently, he will act as a Madhyamadikari, but actually he is not a Madhyamadikari. Like Gurudev was acting like a Madhyamadikari, but he was not actually a Madhyamadikari. Understand? He was pretending. Many times I have seen Gurudev. He used to tell others, oh, I am just an ordinary person like you. Only thing is I know a little bit more scriptures and verses. I'm not different from you. So like Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj used to tell the devotees, oh, in past life, man, I went to an astrologer. The astrologer told that I was a doctor in past life. And what I did, my patient was very sick. So I got one snake killed and used the poison of that snake to cure my patient. As a result of that, I had to take another birth. That's why I had to take this birth and suffer. He was telling like this. So they asked Srila Bhakti Rakshakshidhar Maharaj that Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj or Guru Maharaj is telling us that he was a doctor in past life, and because he killed a snake for treating a patient, he has come again. Then Srila Bhakti Rakshakshidhar Maharaj said that if there is a CIA agent, KGB agent, or Indian RAW agent, or any secret service agent, will he tell that I am a secret service agent? He will tell I am just an ordinary person. This, that. You cannot even recognize a person who is a CIA agent. Understand? So he is the agent of Krishna, pure devotee. Understand? He will not disclose that I am coming from Radha Krishna's. I am coming from Radha Krishna. He will not tell like that. Understand? So Guru is also like that. Understand? He will act as if he is a Madhyamadikari, but he is not a Madhyamadikari. He may act as if he is a Karishtadikari. He may act as if he is a not devotee. Understand? It may be, he may act as if he is not a devotee. Like for example, Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu sometimes used to come to Shachi Mata and quite naked, and used to sit in the lap of Shachi Mata, drink her breast milk. Understand? He used to go to the house of Malini Devi, Shiva's wife. He used to tell Shachi Devi, please give me prasadam, I am hungry. So Nityananda Prabhu is like that, a very elevated Vaishnava, but sometimes not even wearing clothes. Understand? How can we understand this Avdhut person like Nityananda Prabhu? Like Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj, Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj, such elevated Vaishnavas. We are fasting on Ekadashi day, but Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj wasn't fasting on Ekadashi. Sometimes he would fast for 4 or 5 days thinking today's Ekadashi, tomorrow's Ekadashi, like this. And on the day of Ekadashi, he may be seen eating grains. Understand? For them, no rules and regulations are there. Understand? But for us, they are very high level. They are very, very high level. Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj was worshipping the deity, and when Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj went to see him, they were distributing tea prasadam. Tea. And Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj said that Babaji Maharaj is like Lord Shiva. He can drink poison also. But if we drink this tea, we will be ruined. We cannot imitate Babaji Maharaj. Understand? So pure devotees, they may act in certain manner. Understand? So it is improper for a sadhak bhakta to imitate the behavior of pure devotees. Like Gurudev says, once my Gurudev, then Shri Vinod Bihari Brahmacharya and his godbrother, Shri Narari Prabhu, This Narari Seva Vigraha Prabhu also a great elevated devotee. They went to Shri Vamshadhar Babaji Maharaj Bhajan Kutir to take his darshan. Babaji had offered tea and was distributing it. Imagine, offering tea as prasad, bhoga, to Thakurji, and he was distributing it. Vinod Bihari and Narari Prabhu also received some tea prasad. In a cup, there was no cup, maybe that time they had kullad. Kullad means like made from clay. Take this. So Vinod Bihari paid his respects to it, but put it aside and did not take it. Understand? That is our etiquette. When Narari Prabhu asked him why, Vinod Bihari answered philosophically, an object which is taken by a Mahabhagavat can still be unsuitable for us. Mahadev drank a deadly poison. He is capable of doing that. But if an ordinary person drinks poison, he is sure to die. For sadhaka, it is only proper to follow the rules of Bhakti Shastras. Understand? We cannot imitate elevated devotees. Understand? We cannot imitate. So Vinod Bihari Brahmachari showed by his personal example that you don't take tea, coffee and other things. Babaji Maharaj is a different case. Understand? So that is how it is. So Mahabhagavats, they cannot give bhakti because they see everyone is a devotee. How can they give bhakti? Understand? So, but they will act like as if they are Madhyamadikari, then they can give bhakti. Understand? But they don't descend to be a Madhyamadikari, they just act as if they are Madhyamadikari. So that is what is said. Actually, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, his name was Kruti Ratna Prabhu. Kruti means he was actually great, always serving Prabhupada. Any difficult assignment, he used to do it. His name was Kruti Ratna Prabhu. He brought his intimate friend Shri Narahari Prabhu to have darshan of Babaji. Understand? So Narahari Seva Vigraha Prabhu was like the two bodies and one soul. They are one in heart. And he was a disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, but he always stayed under the guidance of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, assisting him. He was the mother of the matha. All day he used to do seva, all day doing seva. Night time he has to do 64 rounds, 1 lakh harinam. That is a rule of Gaudiya Matha. How can he stay awake in the night if he has done seva all day long? Sleep is to come. He used to take his ponytail. He used to take his tuft of his hair and he used to tie it to the ceiling like this. Tie it to the ceiling. And he used to stand and chant Harinam. If you'll doze, then there is to get a jolt to the head and then he has to again start chanting. All night he used to chant and daytime do seva. So Narari Prabhu was his bosom friend. He's like his heart. So they saw that the distribution of tea prasad was going on. But tea has a toxin called tannin. And coffee has a toxin called caffeine. It is actually a poison. So Shri Kritiratna Prabhu told Shri Narahari Prabhu, if we take this prasad, we will go to hell. Means if you drink tea, you will go to hell. Babaji Maharaj is like Nilakantha Mahadev. Nilakantha means Lord Shiva, he drank the poison, his throat became blue. Understand? Lord Shiva drank the poison, he could have taken it to his heart and stomach. But he thought, in my heart, Krishna is staying. I don't want to trouble Krishna by my poison. So therefore he kept it in his throat. So he became known as Kalakantha or Nilakantha Mahadev. Only he can digest this. Teji asamna doshaya vanne sarva bhujoyata. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.33-29. Understand? So this is a very, very important verse. Vanni sarva bhujoyata. Fire can digest anything. Fire can digest anything. You can put dirty things in the fire. You can even put stool in the fire. What will happen? Fire will digest it. Fire will burn it, purify it. All impurities are purified in the fire. Sun can also that. Sun will evaporate urine. People pass urine in India on the playground or anywhere. Sun comes and all the urine is evaporated. The sun does the sun become contaminated by that urine? No. So like that. So similarly, the pure devotees are like that. They are not contaminated. So Shukdev Goswami told, Dharma vyatikramo drushta ishwaranam ja sahasam teji asam na doshaya vanne sarva bhujayata. The status of powerful controllers is not harmed by any apparently audacious transgression of morality we may see in them, for they are just like fire which devours everything fed into it and remains unpolluted. The fire will remain unpolluted. So like that Babaji Maharaj, his character, cannot be contaminated by anything. But we ordinary people will die if we take this poison. If we think I am like Lord Shiva. One time, Swami Maharaj, he saw that one Kumbh Mela, one sadhu had died. That sadhu had applied ashes from the cremation ground or something on his body, and he was naked in a cold season of Kumbh Mela. Obviously, he could not tolerate the cold and he died. So Swami Maharaj said, this is what happens when you imitate Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva sits atop naked with Parvati on the pinnacle of Kailash mountain in the cold season. Does it mean that you can imitate him? He is Shiva. He is not ordinary person. Understand? So, but this sadhu was imitating him in the Kumbh, so he died. Understand? So, we ordinary people will die if we take this. It is not advisable for common people to imitate Mahapurushas who are endowed with transcendental power. They have a certain power to digest the poison. Understand? For example, someone is taking many disciples. For example, you take example of Sharangadev. Sharangadev one time, he was living in Navadvip and he was getting older, Mahaprabhu's associate. Mahaprabhu said, Sharangadev, make some disciple. He will wash your clothes, utensils, cook for you, worship the deity. You are getting old, you cannot serve Thakurji nicely. He said, I cannot find any good disciple. And if I accept an unsuitable disciple, incapable disciple, and if he doesn't do bhajan, all his reaction will come to me. Understand? So it is very dangerous to accept disciple. Mahaprabhu said, anyways, you are capable. If you will accept him, he will start doing bhajan by your power. It will never happen that you have accepted someone and he doesn't do bhajan. By your blessing, he will certainly do bhajan. So Sharangadev said, okay, tomorrow, the first person I will see in the morning, when I set out of my bhajan kutir, I will initiate him. So he went to Ganges to take bath and he saw a dead body of a young boy on the raft of plantain trunks was floating in the water. Because in India, if someone dies by snake bite, they don't burn that body. They just throw it in the Ganges. They tie it to wood or a raft of plantain trunks and then just let it float in the Ganges. So he saw the dead body, so one young boy was there, teenage boy, 10 or 12-year-old boy. He went, he said, this is my disciple, so I had to give him mantra. He went and he uttered the Hare Krishna mantra and Gopal mantra in the ear of the dead boy. The boy was dead. And he came back to life. He said, oh, what happened to me? What happened to me? He said, I don't remember anything, Gurudev. Last I remember that I was playing there in the courtyard of my father and then everything just dark. Then his Gurudev told him that actually you are bitten by a snake and considering you to be dead, they discarded you in the Ganges. And Mahaprabhu had told me, Nimai Pandit had told me to initiate someone. So I initiated you and you have come back to life. Then his mother and father and brothers, sisters, they all came to know that our and Sharangadev named him Murari. They came to see Murari. He said, hey Murari, come back home. He said, no, when I died, you threw me in the Ganges. My Gurudev has given me a new lease of life. He is my life. Lifetime after lifetime, he is my master. I will not come back with you. I will now stay with my Gurudev. I will serve him. And he started serving his Gurudev, washing his clothes, cooking for him, worshipping the deities on his behalf, everything. He became so powerful, this Murari, by serving his Gurudev, that sometimes he used to stay in the Ganges river 7 days at a stretch. He used to sleep on the backs of the crocodiles. Sometimes he used to ride the tigers, like as if they're horses. He used to sit on the back of the tigers and used to go here and there. And sometimes he used to carry big poisonous snakes in his hand as if they are like, rope. He was so powerful. No No tigers and no snakes and no crocodiles used to harm him. He used to stay in the stream of Ganges 7 days. So Guru made him so powerful, but we cannot imitate Murari or Sharangadev, understand? So they are great persons, understand? So this is important instructions. Like another day, Shri Krutiratna Prabhu saw that Babaji Maharaj was performing bhajan with great concentration in his bhajan kutir. Many bhaktas who were taking his darshan were also offering donations, and one of them started to gather up the coins. Babaji Maharaj at once restrained him and said, "Tho, paisa tho, jekhankar paisa thekane tho, utpater kaudi chitpater jai." Don't touch money. Leave it wherever it is. Corrupt money is the reason one falls down. All the actions of a Mahapurusha are for the welfare of the world, and their instructions are extremely important for true practitioners of bhakti. So you see, the unqualified disciple was collecting the donations. But what he would do with these donations? He will try to enjoy his senses with these donations. Understand? So money in the hand of an unqualified devotee can bring about a spiritual disaster for him. So brahmacharis, sannyasis should not keep any extra money. Whatever they require, they can keep. Rest they should give to their Gurudev or senior godbrother, like this. Or temple president, whoever needs that money, we should use that. Not keep excess money. Otherwise, it can be the cause of fall down. If you don't know how to handle money, it can ruin you. So Babaji told, Utpater kaudi chitpater jai. People earn money by causing so much harm to others. And then if you use that for your own sense gratification, you will be ruined. Understand? New devotees should not be given the habit of sense gratification. One time, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, his name was Ekadsi Prabhu Brahmachari. And one Brahmachari had joined the mठ newly. So he wanted a dhoti. So Srila Bhakti Daivata Maharaj Maharaj, the Guru Dev of Ekadsi Brahmachari, told him, Narottam Brahmachari, they told him that he told Narottam Prabhu, told Gurudev, that new Brahmachari wants a dhoti. Then Gurudev told that there is a control shop, government authorized cloth shop. There you get a very cheap cloth. Understand? Very cheap cloth, it is little coarse and but it is last very long time. Simple cloth. And you should purchase that cloth from the control shop, government control shop, and give to this brahmacharya's dhoti, like 5 meter or whatever he requires. But Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, Narottam Brahmachari told Srila Bhakti Daivata Maharaj that but actually we have given some fine silk dhotis, 5 or 6 of them. Some donors have donated and they are lying in the godown. If you want, I can get one of that dhoti for this brahmachari. Then he said, no. Bhakti Daivata Maharaj said, you are not understanding. He is a new brahmachari. He comes from a poor background. And if we give him very high class, very soft dhoti at this stage, he will be addicted to sense gratification. Then he will not make any spiritual progress. So right now, he is a beginner devotee. So first give him the simple dhoti from coarse cloth, government control cloth. Don't make, the worst thing you can do is to make people engage in sense gratification. To make them sense gratifiers is the worst thing you can do to ruin anyone's bhakti. Understand? So we should never ever encourage anyone's sense gratification. Understand? Because you are doing the greatest disservice to them by encouraging their sense gratification. This is what the message Srila Bhakti Daivata Maharaj gave to his disciple, Sri Narottam Prabhu Brahmachari. Understand? So on one occasion, a new Tridandi sannyasi arrived to have Babaji's darshan. Seeing him, offering him pranam, Babaji said, Vaushiki Kamchi. Understand? What Babaji Maharaj said? Young bamboo wrapped in cloth does not make a danda, and one does not become a Tridandi by bearing it. The significance of carrying a Tridanda is to utilize the body, mind and words completely in the Seva Bhagavan. So what is actually, now we take Diksha, then we should not think that I have become a Brahmin. We should think I got the entrance in the school of Brahminism. Now I am a beginning student. When we get Diksha or when we get sannyas, I shouldn't think I have become a sannyasi, first class sannyasi. I should think that I got entrance into the school of sannyas. Now I have to learn, I have to practice. Understand? So, simply carrying a trident staff or a Brahminical thread, you don't become Brahmin or sannyasi by that. Babaji Maharaj is telling. New sannyasi was unsophisticated and could extract the essence of the instruction. He became very happy when he heard Babaji's words and said, Ki kaj sannyase mora prema prayojan dasa karid vetana mora deha pramadan. I have nothing to do with sannyas. My goal is to achieve prema. Please make me your servant and give me the wealth of prema as my salary. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told. The sannyas is only to get Krishna prema. Understand? That's all. Otherwise, sannyas has no purpose. We are following this Devi Varnashram Dharma to get Krishna prema. The whole and soul exercise, Diksha or anything, or sannyas or anything, Harikatha or Kirtan Bhajan, is to get Krishna prema. That's all. Prema Pumarto Man. Our goal is not Krishna, but Krishna prema. Understand? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Alright? Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Gurudev.
Hare Krishna. Today is late because today is Ekadashi. So we are staying late. Okay? Thank you. I hope anyone has no more question. I hope. Na? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Happy Ekadashi. Thank you. Dandavats. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
And thank you to Hong Kong devotees, Gurudev, they're still awake.
Yeah, no problem, because Ekadashi day, Maharaj, Shripad Dandi Maharaj, he does nighttime kirtan, harikatha. So we have a habit of Ekadashi. Because Ekadashi, we always take light prasadam, fruit or potatoes, so sleep doesn't come easily. We can stay awake. Other days, we take heavy prasadam, grains, then finish. You feel so sleepy. But Ekadashi
What
day...
you eat? What you eat, Gurudev?
Potatoes, groundnuts, some fruit. That's all, So this is light prasadam. So light prasadam is, makes you less sleepy. If you eat heavy, then you feel less. Many times, night classes I almost, yawning and feeling sleepy. But today, not feeling so sleepy. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Vanchata Vaishnava Namah. Dandavats, sir. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Ekadashi Mata Tithi ki Jai.
Jai. Vishnu Daivata Maharaj Jai. Gurudev
Jai. Jai. God Premanande. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Dandavats.
Rikesh Prabhu, you have a question?
No question, Mataji. Maharaj is very told everything so beautifully. No question.
Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Rishikesh Prabhu, would you like to say Jai Diwani?
Okay. जय श्री गुरु गौरांग गंडरिका गिरधारी जो श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी राधा गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जो की जय. जय जय नित्यलीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय. जय नित्यलीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद शिला भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. जय नित्यलीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद भक्ति वेदांत त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. जय नित्यलीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. नित्यलीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय. महाभागवत वर गौर किशोरदास बाबाजी महाराज की सच्चिदानंद स्वरूप भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय. वैष्णव सार्वभौम जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय. जय रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ सर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय. जय नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय. जय राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड यमुना गंगा तुलसी वृंदे भक्ति महारानी की जय।
जय जय
जय वृंदावन धाम की जय।
जय हो।
जय आमलौकी एकादशी व्रत की जय। एकादशी
जय
पालनकारी भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय
चारी
हो।
धाम चारी आचार्य चारी संप्रदाय की जय।
जय
परम
जय
पूज्यपाद भक्ति वेदांत विष्णु द्वैत महाराज की जय।
हरे
परम
कृष्ण।
पूज्यपाद भक्ति वेदांत दंडी महाराज की जय।
जय
समस्त वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय
हरिनाम
जय
संकीर्तन की जय।
जय जय
दाई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि।
हरि हरि वो ऋषिकेश प्रभु की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय जय
जय।
जय। समस्त वैष्णव वृंद की जय। दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण।
Dandavat pranams, Gurudev. Hare
दंडवत
Krishna.
दंडवत दंडवत हरे
धन्यवाद।
कृष्ण।
Thank you, Maharaj. We had a beautiful Ekadasi. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare
Very
Krishna.
blessed Ekadasi.
Yeah, I'm also happy because I could did. Actually, the rule is that you have to stay awake all night.
Yes.
But at least some hours I could stay awake. If no one is there to hear Harikatha, who will I speak? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
And
Hare
then,
Krishna.
Dandavata. Hare Krishna.
धन्यवाद।
Dandavata. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Dandavata.
dear devotees, for joining today. And we'll see you all